Steve's a Mizzou guy, our boss. So,
right.
you got to get K-State rolling, dude.
I know. We'll see what Colin Klein can do. He's a new head coach.
New head coach.
Yep.
Get yourself a quarterback. You never know what happens.
They're keeping their quarterback. Avery Johnson's back for another year.
Good.
He's going to be like the last guy ever to play 4 years at one school.
That'll be good. It's a good place to start, is having stability at quarterback.
It is.
We'll be doing a lot of football in the latter half of the show today. So we're going to talk about Indiana, Oregon tonight. Obviously, Tom Ackerman's Hoosiers going at it. I definitely would love. I mean, I'm rooting for Indiana anyway. Nothing against Oregon at all, just because I just think Indiana's the best story in college football with where they were 3 years ago and where they are now. And their coach being brilliant and his ability to put together a roster and use the portal and fashion things through NIL and get the right guys. And they play the smartest brand of football in the country. They're just fun to watch. So I would love to have Tom and I be able to go back and forth for about a week and a half on that one.
I like him so much. I watched a video clip of him the other day where he talked about, look, we're in the office every morning at 7:30, and my staff gets the job done.
Yeah.
And then when they're ready to go home, they go home. I love him. I'm not checking people's offices at 4 PM to make sure they're still there.
Yeah.
I hire people to do a job, and they either do it or they don't. If they do it, I trust them. And, his practices, it's good to be an Indiana football player because
he believes in rest.
Yeah, you're going to go hour 15, hour and a half, maybe twice a week, and there's going to be a lot of walkthroughs.
Yeah. Really smart guy, and I'm glad to see him having success, and I'm looking forward to tonight because it should be fun tonight.
Yeah.
And it was fun last night. We'll do more of that a little bit after the 5:30 news. We'll talk to you about the NFL wildcard weekend late in the show, too. But we'll start with baseball as we always do, and because it's this time of year, we've got newsy type things every day. Let's start with one just day-to-day thing. We found out today that Ketel Marte is going to be pulled off the trade market. So Arizona's going to keep him. And we've been mentioning this because we've been waiting out the Brendan Donovan talks, and we know that there are a lot of teams interested. We know the Cardinals are asking for a high price. And again, you should start at a high price, and maybe you come down, maybe you don't. Just depends on what you're being offered. But I do think that Marte coming off the trade market and eventually guys like Bregman and Bichette signing or narrowing down their fields will be what loosens it up for the Cardinals to make a move with Donovan. And really, Arenado too with those free agents who play third base, because if a team loses out and needs a third baseman, that could be your fit. Not that they're going to give you anything real in return, but if they need a guy to bat seventh and play great defense, well, Arenado can do that.
And by the way, there's nothing stopping a team that all of a sudden decides they want to overpay for Ketel Marte from calling up Mike Hayes and say, hey, we've got an offer for you.
That's correct, right.
So he could be off the market, but he's not really off the market. But that being said, it feels like it would take something extraordinary at this point to move him.
Well, it should. He's a rock star. I mean, he's a star player.
To Hazen's credit, at the end of December, he said, look, if we don't get a deal done, we're done with this.
Right.
And now he seems to be following through on that. And that's why I don't want to take everything back to Brendan Donovan, but just very quickly the Brendan Donovan part of it. With Ketel Marte off the market, that changes the market now,
right? And
it helps the Cardinals. I don't know if it's going to help them enough to push forward a deal, but it does change the market, and it has changed it for good. Now, things can happen that can change the market for bad as well.
That's right.
But right now, Ketel Marte being off the market is good for the Cardinals in terms of trading Brendan Donovan.
Especially since he is the better option for people who can play second base. I mean, Marte's a superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 30-homer second baseman. I mean, not very many of those sitting around out there. So while Donovan is damn good, he's not as good as Ketel Marte. So we have that kind of current event type thing. We don't have a lot of news on free agency. Not that there aren't talks going on or whatever. I mean, we see the Yankees are still engaged on Bellinger, blah, blah, blah.
That has to happen.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to give him the money the Yankees are offering.
I think it's the perfect fit, and they're one of the only teams that can afford him. Now, there's still the buzz that maybe he'd go back to the Dodgers, but to do that, he's going to have to take the shorter-term, higher AAV deal, and that's what there's talk about with Kyle Tucker. Does he want the longer deal, or does he want the shorter deal with opt-outs like Alex Bregman took last year? And I guess if you're not getting the long-term offers, then you turn your attention to something like that. But I think Tucker's going to get the big deal. I think he's going to get the 7 or 8 year deal.
Yeah, he's the one guy left who I think gets the long-term deal.
Bichette's going to.
You think so?
Bo Bichette's going to. Those guys are both in their 20s. They're going to get long deals.
Well, the Yankees with Bellinger, reportedly, the offer that they have for him on the table is north of $30 million per year, AAV. So that puts him right there with Schwarber and Alonso in terms of the highest paid guys who have signed so far this offseason. It makes sense for him to do that.
So we'll obviously track all that. I mean, those things are not likely to impact the Cardinals in any way. And the free agents that the Cardinals will still potentially be looking at are not going to be of the big name variety. Complimentary guys, maybe bullpen guy, maybe a right-handed bat. Maybe you get the right-handed bat in a trade with Donovan or Arenado, and it's just a guy. It's not going to be an impact player. It's going to be someone that maybe can be a good role player for you.
You go try to find a guy who's probably super splitty.
Yeah, you definitely want a right-handed bat.
Right.
And ideally a right-handed bat that's capable of giving you at least average center field defense, but that's hard to find. That'd be great. I mean, that would be the goal, because that would allow you to give Victor Scott rests against some lefties. He could spell Nootbaar sometimes. Like that player, it's funny, that player is basically like Lane Thomas or Harrison Bader, but Thomas is already off the board and Bader's going to find a contender, I'm sure.
But I mean, I assume Nathan Church is likely to be on the roster.
I mean, I think as it stands now, I think he would be.
Yeah, so there's your center fielder.
Yeah, but he's a lefty.
Yeah, but you're right.
I'm just talking about complementary to what you have.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to go that route, and it does.
They have is left-handers, so there's nothing we can do.
I know that's the crazy part. You got to get some guys in there that swing it from the right side a little bit, and maybe that's part of what kind of sets it up for you when you're talking about moving forward. With your guys, and I still wonder, are we ever going to see Sajaci in the outfield? And if not, why not? I mean, there's clearly no current path for him to be an everyday infielder on this team in the short term.
Am I wrong that at one point Heimblum or Oliver Marmol said this offseason that they were going to work Sajaci in the outfield in spring?
I'm sure they have, but
okay.
I mean, to this, why are we here when he's 26 years old and nobody's ever put him in the outfield before?
Well, that doesn't matter at this point, Kevin. It's a brand new regime.
I know.
I'll push back on you hard on that one. I am not going to judge anything that has happened previous to this moment with the Cardinals.
Well, it's not a judge. It's just
no, it is. You say why are we just doing it now? It doesn't matter. It was a previous regime.
Well, no. But this is it's a shot at the previous regime. Yeah. The point is that you had a player that's literally blocked everywhere he could possibly play in the infield, and you never put him in the outfield.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Well, now go do something that makes sense and put him in the outfield.
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, and this is the weird part about it is, it's not a big ask to let someone who can play shortstop play left field.
Yeah.
Like, it's a much easier position than playing middle infield.
He'll do a better job in left field than Ivan Herrera.
Yes. Yes. That was, and again, I get the Herrera thing, though, because it's about his bat.
Right.
Right. You're just trying to make sure that bat has plenty of places. On this note, I wonder if they're going to do it because they're making the point of emphasis about his catching and giving him a chance to, get back in the mix behind the plate. He needs to get some first base time.
Yeah, he does.
He needs to get some first base time because that would allow you in certain scenarios to have Burleson play the outfield if somebody's banged up. Let's say Newt's not ready to start the year. That just opens your options up, and you got to have some spots for Herrera to play other than DH, and I don't believe the catching thing's going to work. Other than maybe a game or two here and there.
If he's a one-day-a-week catcher, I'm fine with that.
That's fine, but again, that's not really a good use of a young player's career.
No, but it gives you a little bit of flexibility on those days at some other spots on the field. If he's mainly a DH, it gives you the chance to use that DH in another way.
Get him some first base time.
Yeah, Burleson, Gorman, and Herrera should
have
be
first
playing
base
at
gloves.
first base.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. All right, that's Matt Pauley. I'm Kevin Wheeler. It's Rush Hour Sports. We're going to talk some more baseball up next. Rob Manfred has been floating some ideas. Split season. Off-season free agent deadline. Hate it. I'm going to talk about, and you'll see, you're free to disagree, Matt. We'll get into this. Why are we always kicking around the things that are really not going to accomplish what you really need to accomplish? We'll talk about what would really fix some things coming up next here on KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Before he became a national icon, Harry Carey electrified St. Louis baseball on KMOX. With boundless energy, raw emotion, and his signature Holy Cow, Carey brought Cardinals baseball to life for millions across the Midwest.
Slow ball swung on, a drive, back to left. Way back is Brock, he jumps. Holy cow, did he make the catch or not? Yeah, he's got the ball. The game is over.
The power of KMOX's signal paired with Harry's unforgettable personality helped create one of the strongest team broadcaster bonds in sports.
This is Harry Carey with Jack Buck and Jerry Gross.
His bold, candid style made him one of America's most colorful broadcasters and a defining voice in the early era of KMOX sports. Harry Carey, a KMOX pioneer.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cash back app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite spots.
Download the free Upside app and start earning cash back now. Use promo code POP10 for a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code POP10. Make your resolution easy this year. Download the free Upside app today and use promo code POP10 for an extra $10 bonus on your first purchase.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling on northbound 170, it's slow from Scudder up to Airport Road. There's an incident, a crash on the right. It looks like it's on the right shoulder southbound at Scudder. That's not bothering anybody, thankfully. South 170, Ladue to 64 is heavy. Eastbound 64 backed up. McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Science Center out through Big Bend. There's a lot of congestion. Then it's just slow west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. Westbound 70, the only delays you have are from 61 out through Highway Z. Southbound 270, Olive to Ladue, Big Bend down to 44, slow. Westbound 44, the right lanes at Geyer are busy. The earlier crash gone. Eastbound 44 delays, Hampton through Grand due to the road work. Westbound 44 between the bridges downtown, a little slow. Southbound 55, Gasconade through Bates is kind of busy, and Telegraph has heavy traffic between Forder and Yeager, both directions, it looks like. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it's Friday on Rush Hour Sports. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Baseball now, a little college football, and NFL later on after the 5:30 news.
How much Miami gear do you own?
Oh, my God, so much. I mean, a lot of it is actually, like, legitimately 25, 30 years old. Like, I have T-shirts from when I was in college or right after that.
Will you be wearing something Miami-related every day between now and the National
I usually
Championship?
save it. Like, today, I got this polo on. This is the celebratory day.
Okay.
I will wear the same jersey a week from Monday. Okay. You know, it's a Ken Dorsey jersey from back in the 2001 season. So it's legitimately like a 23-year-old jersey.
Okay.
And Carson Beck happens to wear the same number, so kind of fits.
So you're the reason they won.
No, I'm not about that. I don't
Okay.
wear any of these things because I think it means anything. I just do it because I like it.
Well, you said you're going to wear the same one.
It
now,
gets you in the spirit of it.
It's
right?
very
It gets
superstitious.
Gets you in the right mindset.
Okay. Well,
it's enjoyable.
I'll be superstitious
I would
love
to think that my choice of clothing would impact the outcome of games because then my teams would never lose. I'd be decked out, baby.
Or it goes the opposite way. You just got to find the right thing in the right situation.
I think I have the right thing if that's a real thing, but it's not a real thing. So.
All right, fair enough.
No, I'm definitely not a superstitious person. I've never been that. Not even playing. I was never like, I got to wear this right T-shirt or it didn't matter. Just suit up. Let's go. Doesn't make any difference. All right, so we're talking baseball, and we teased this because, Rob Manfred has been dropping some little things. This is how it works, by the way, is Rob Manfred will drop these little nuggets once in a while to Evan Drellick or to Ken Rosenthal or just in public.
Yeah, he went on FAN yesterday.
Yeah, he was on WFAN.
With, Craig Carden.
Like, he'll drop these little things here and there about things they've kicked around, and they're like trial balloons. He's kind of wanting to gauge the reaction to them, and a lot of times you find out, yeah, that's a terrible idea because everybody's crapping on it and everybody would hate it. Like, he dropped the idea of maybe doing an in-season tournament because, nothing says we're cool like copying another league. The NBA does it, and nobody in the NBA cares.
No.
The players hate it. No fans are like, ooh, goody, in-season tournament. It's just a thing. It's just nothing.
It's a way to get a game in Vegas every year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. Nobody cares. It's not going to increase viewership. It's not going to increase revenue. What's the point? I mean, if you're like, well, maybe it'll go viral for a day. No, it won't.
No.
Because nobody will care. And you'll piss off a lot of your regular customers, and they'll be like, this is stupid. They floated a split season, which also sucks.
Yeah, that's a minor league thing.
Yeah,
this is the major leagues.
Yeah.
Don't bring minor league stuff to the major leagues.
Yeah, and this idea that, like, look, the whole point of the sport is that it's a 6-month marathon.
Yes.
That is the point.
Yes.
We don't need to make it more like other sports. Because you're doing fine as long as you do you well. Do what you do well.
You have to build your roster to win now and also win next month. That's one of the amazing things about baseball. How it is a very normal thing for a team to get 110, 120 games into the year and then all of a sudden just hit a wall because that roster wasn't built to survive 162 games.
Yeah.
Surviving 162 games is one of the things I love most about the sport of baseball, that when you're putting together a roster, you put one together that can go do that. And if somebody wants to press the reset button in the middle of the season, that would anger me. I would be so upset because it changes the fabric of the game.
Well, it also ruins all historical references. It's harder to look at one team versus another team in a previous generation and to match up accomplishments because you're changing the way that you're doing it, and it's lazy and wrong. And I know why they're doing it because it's an end around. It's an end around that'd be like, well, some of these smaller revenue teams might be able to be good for 3 months. They just can't be good for 6 months, and that would give them a chance. Instead of dealing with the nonsense, the one thing that Major League Baseball should be doing to grow its sport, to make it better, to fix it, is to level the financial playing field as much as you can.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to make it 100% equal because you're retrofitting the old way into the new way. But the one thing that will really, truly grow your sport is leveling the revenue between the Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox and the Pirates, Brewers, Twins, you name it. And again, doesn't mean equal, but you've got to raise up the bottom teams. And it's going to have to come at the expense of the top dogs in payroll because they're the ones with the extra revenue.
And this is my prediction, and I'm very confident on this prediction. Everybody knows a salary cap is not coming. That is, the players are never, ever, 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 ever going to agree to a salary cap in our lifetimes. But we keep hearing about a salary cap this, salary cap that. I think what baseball and the owners are doing right now is they keep talking about the salary cap as a way to ease into more restrictions on the tax threshold, where more money is going to get redistributed. Maybe the threshold is lower. Maybe the penalty is higher depending on how much you cross. I think that's what they're setting up for, because essentially there is a cap for some teams. There's a lot of teams that just will not go into the tax. I think they're going to manipulate that even more on this next CBA, and the way that they're going to go down that path is they're trying to loosen up the players a little bit with the idea of a cap, which again is not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that the cap talk is the equivalent of the starting point in a negotiation. Like let's say you're talking Kyle Tucker. If you're Kyle Tucker's side, you're going to start off with, we want 8 years and $400 million. You're not getting $400 million, but you can ask for it as a starting point because then you work down from there. And a team will come in. Actually, here you go. Perfect example. In the news yesterday, Tarek Skubal. Going to arbitration for the last time. He filed for $32 million. The team filed for 19. Those are their opening offers. They can still negotiate somewhere in between that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about here. Like, this is, if the more you make that a talking point, the more taking it off the table can get you bargaining leverage.
I know you didn't want to talk about it. I think he wins that because all you have to do is be $1 over the midpoint, which is what, $24.5 million or whatever it would be. If you can prove that you're worth $24.5 million and 1 penny, well, then the arbitrators have to side on the high side.
I don't actually think they're going to get to the hearing personally.
Okay.
I think they're going to find a way to settle it because I think what you said is true, and I think Detroit will know it.
Yeah.
They'll know that they're going to lose that, and they're going to lose. Again, they have the money. They don't have any real big contracts, but why not try to get him to 26, 27, 28 million and avoid the nonsense?
Yeah.
All right, that's Matt Pauley. I'm Kevin Wheeler. Stick around. We'll talk college football playoff. Oregon and Indiana coming up tonight. We'll do that next.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Whether it's due to job loss, a divorce, a new business venture, or you just didn't file your taxes, don't lose hope. Powerful relief programs are now available that can help you and may reduce or even eliminate what you owe the IRS. With the cost of living affecting millions across the country, Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying anyone with $5, $50, or even $500,000 in back taxes to the IRS to call to get relief options. With over 1,000 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, TRA is America's trusted choice for real tax relief. Relief options are now available that can give you a fresh start and peace of mind. End your tax nightmare today by calling our tax relief hotline. Dial 800-390-8432. 800-390-8432. That's 800-390-8432. Or visit TRA.com. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
At 5:30, this news update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got partly cloudy conditions and 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. President Trump met with top executives from American oil companies at the White House today.
The meeting follows the U.S. ouster of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. President Trump says this paves the way for the U.S. oil companies to return.
We will more closely integrate the economies of two major energy powers.
That integration, which includes rebuilding U.S. oil company infrastructure, will create what the president describes as a global energy powerhouse.
Together, we have 55% of the oil in the world.
Trump says decades ago, Venezuela stole U.S. assets. Now the U.S. is taking it back. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Another Republican running for Illinois governor gets out of the race. Roger Plummer explains.
Each candidate had to submit a minimum of 5,000 valid signatures for ballot access. But the Illinois State Board of Elections voted on Thursday that Joseph Severino was more than 200 signatures short. 7 Republicans initially filed to run in the primary in March, hoping to defeat Governor Pritzker in November. 2 candidates now have been removed, and 1 withdrew from the race.
One of the most ambitious U.S. EV automakers is taking a big hit.
General Motors will be hit with charges of about $6 billion in its fourth quarter after sales of electric vehicles have sputtered. When the U.S. cut tax incentives to buy them and also eased auto emission standards. The new charges follow an announcement in October that the Detroit automaker would take a $1.6 billion charge for the same reason. Automakers are forced to reroute ambitious plans to convert their fleets to electric power. The clean vehicle tax credit was worth $7,500 for new EVs and up to $4,000 for used ones. The EV tax credit ended in September. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
After 4 years, the St. Louis Fire Department has made promotions.
8 battalion chiefs and 19 captains have been promoted, ending the moratorium that began in 2022. Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson.
The step of the fire department today is a little bit quicker. I can tell it in the pulse as I talk to guys coming into headquarters. Total morale boosters.
Robert Eveland has been awaiting his promotion to battalion chief since February of 2022. He says after serving in the role in an acting capacity, the lack of proper pay those years wasn't the biggest issue. It was respect.
The respect that comes along with being promoted and knowing that you earn that promotion is, I think every one of these guys and gals will tell you the same thing.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk for tonight, a few light rain showers late tonight. It's going to get colder, low 38. For tomorrow, sunshine, but first a few sprinkles of rain, maybe some flurries too. High tomorrow of 44. Tomorrow night, 25. And for Sunday, the high 36. Right now, we've got partly cloudy conditions. It's 48 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer that's been taking great care of St. Louis families since 1927. Dan Saliga is a fourth-generation owner-operator of this proud family business, and he is maintaining the highest of standards. The Miklasz family has called on Saliga for many years, and we give them the highest marks for honesty, knowledge, and class. You won't have to worry about Saliga trying to fast-talk you into something you don't need, but if a repair is needed, Saliga will patiently explain all of your options and answer all of your questions. The Saliga family business is still going strong after nearly 100 years, and they believe they must earn your trust every time. Saliga will never take your business for granted. Saliga services all makes and models for home or business and offers free estimates and financing options. I recommend Saliga's Priority Club. It's a maintenance plan that will save you money by extending the life of your equipment. To find out much more, call Saliga at 314-481-7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting weak is not recommended.
But first, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper, and chairs. And now you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers. Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Ends 1/31. Select models only.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, Friday on Rush Hour Sports. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here doing some football now. We're going to switch over to college football, and then we'll do some NFL playoffs, the wild card round, to wrap up the show. So, obviously, you know, I'm in a great mood today. It's the best Friday since 2001. Well, it was actually January of 2002.
I was very happy for you last night.
Yeah, I thought they were blowing it. I'm not going to lie. For the fact that Miami won last night, despite taking so many penalties, and they deserved them.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't like unearned penalties. They were false starts. There were a couple of bad personal fouls that did not need to happen, that they created themselves. Between that and I think, what was it, 4 dropped interceptions?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you make one of those plays and the game's completely different.
And some of them were like easy catches.
They had a couple of drives stalled when receivers dropped passes that were right to their, I mean, literally right at them. They weren't like tough plays. And with all of the mistakes, they still won. That was cool, because normally, what you guys saw last night, that's typically what happens when they blow games.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened against SMU and Louisville, is they kick themselves in their own asses, and then they can't recover from it, even though they're the better team. Well, they did last night, which is pretty remarkable.
Did you watch Cristobal's interview with Scott Van Pelt?
Yeah.
Where, like, SVP was, like, not having the, okay, you're going to answer this question the exact same way you've answered every other question. I appreciated that from Scott.
Yeah, I think that Mario's doing a smart thing and not focusing on what used to be. Because they get all the questions about, are you back, are you back, are you back? But, look, they shouldn't look at it that way. And we fans can. And my statement has always been this, very simple. Miami is not back until they are regularly contending for national championships.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a start. But back in the day, that's all it was. It was like every year you started the year like, how are we going to win the title this year? Like, that's what it was. That's not what it is now. Right now, it's just a great run, and hopefully that they'll finish that run.
And it's harder to be that. I mean, just
it is.
The fact that there hasn't been an SEC school in the championship game for 3 years shows you how much tougher it is now to be not just a team, but a league that consistently has teams at the top.
I'd be cool with it if we have shorter dynasties. You know, if it's like a 2 or 3 year window instead of 8 or 10 or 15 years like it was with Nick Saban. I think that's better for the sport. I think it's better for the sport when Ole Miss is able to get this deep, when Indiana is playing in this level at this level. You know, Miami's an old school power. They haven't been very competitive in that at the national level for 2 decades, but they're still a powerhouse as far as recruiting and things like that. And Oregon is too, but they're still not the same old teams. Although Oregon's they've been part of the same old for the last 10, 15 years.
They're like the newest entry into the blue blood category.
But forever there, it was just Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State.
USC, a little bit.
No, I mean like recently.
Okay,
USC was a little further back. That was more like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Was that? Yeah. Has it been that long?
It was like 2003, 4, 5.
Right.
Yeah.
I still feel like I look at USC the way I look at Miami, that they are a sleeping giant that at any moment 100%. Can just once again rise up.
You get the right coach and the right commitment. And the thing with Cristobal, he's not the greatest game manager.
No.
Like last night, he didn't go for 2 when he should have late in that game. And he just kicked the extra point, which was useless.
Yeah,
being up 5 is not any better than being up 4.
When that happened, I was, what is he doing? And then about 4 seconds later, I got a text message from you saying, what is he doing?
Yeah, what am I missing here?
Yeah. And it was very odd when it happened.
He's not great with that stuff, but what he is great at is hiring great assistant coaches. He's great at developing, recruiting, signing in the portal, and developing linemen. Offensive and defensive linemen. That's where they're winning these games.
Yeah.
They're great on the line of scrimmage. And they have skilled players too. But they have a great offensive line that can push around another team's defensive line. And they have a great defensive line. And I thought Ole Miss had a great plan last night. Because when you face Miami, you have to get rid of the ball fast. If you're taking the normal amount of time, you're going to get pass rushed. You're going to get hit. You're going to get sacked. You're going to have problems. And they did a great job of working around that. All right, we'll shift to Indiana, Oregon coming up in a second. Real quick, though, we'll do a check of traffic with Captain Roger Brand and see what's going on around St. Louis.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we got a couple of crashes on the secondaries right now, Kevin. South Florissant near Church, there's a rescue crash on the north side, and on the south side in Baumgartner at Heinz, you have an injury crash. Southbound 170 backs up from the Parkway down to 64. North 170, Scudder to Airport Road's just slow. Eastbound 64, midway between Lindbergh and McKnight's backed up through Big Bend. Westbound 64, the Science Center headed out to Big Bend is slow. After that, it looks great out in St. Charles County. Eastbound 44, still roadwork delays east of Hampton through Kings Highway. That roadwork's going on until 8 o'clock tonight, and they cleared that crash eastbound 70 before 270, but there's still pretty heavy traffic from 5th Street headed into 270 as of right now. And there's also a little bit of a delay southbound 55 approaching Richardson. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Real quick before we go back to the Indiana, Oregon for a second, I do gotta tip the cap to Nick Saban. Nick Saban called the Miami thing.
Mm-hmm.
near the end of November, he was on TV and said, if they get in, the one team nobody wants to play is Miami because of their talent level.
I like Nick Saban on TV.
He's been right.
Yeah.
I don't always like his opinions. Like, I think he's too much old school. We should have things the way they used to be. You know, like we want coaches back in power and players not in power. Like, I don't like that. But his opinions on the game, on the field,
yeah,
unbeatable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbeatable.
I think he is somebody who walked right into a TV job and did a really, really solid job on it. And he's become more likable. Like watching him and McAfee together, it's fun. Like I think Pat McAfee's been very good for Nick Saban.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's move to the Oregon-Indiana game. This is to me, it's a tough game. I'm going with Indiana. I did put my money where my mouth is on this one, but not with supreme confidence. I think it's a really tough game. If you missed it, Indiana beat Oregon 30-20 at Oregon earlier this year, and that was probably the game that signaled Indiana's for real.
Yeah.
They were good last year too, but they had the knock on them that they hadn't played enough good teams.
I remember thinking Oregon was just going to roll in that game.
And Indiana went up there and won by 10 points. They're favored by 3, depending on where you look. Some places 3.5. I love Indiana. One of the reasons why I like them, and again, I'm not like this is a dead cinch lock, nothing like that. One of the reasons I am on their side on this, though, is Oregon's number 1 running back, Whittingham, is not going to start. He is available to play, but he's not going to play very much. And then their number 2 running back is actually their number 3 because their number 2 is hurt. Number 3 running back has like 26 carries in 3 years. And then behind that, they have 2 linebackers that used to play running back in high school that have started taking reps at running back. So they're real thin there. And believe it or not, for people, their running game is critical to them and has been throughout their run. I know they're fast-paced offense and they throw it around, but they run the ball too.
Look, this has got to be Dante Moore's game if Oregon's going to win.
He's going to have to step up big.
And what he did in the first matchup, bluntly, was not very good. Threw for 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 6 times. He was under pressure. If Indiana can get to the quarterback today, I think that may be the difference in this game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that the most impressive thing about Indiana to me, and I want to be clear on this, Cignetti is a great tactical coach. They have a lot of talent. I mean, Fernando Mendoza is going to be maybe the number 1 pick in the draft. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. They have talent all across the field, right? They're a very balanced team. But my favorite thing about them is they play the cleanest game in the country. Mm-hmm. They don't screw up. And that makes them easy to like in big games because they don't beat themselves. They don't take stupid penalties. They don't make massive mistakes. They don't get beat very often on big plays. If you're going to beat them, you're going to have to slowly move them down the field and not screw up yourself.
Right, and it's when you're doing that and when you're going 2-3 plays for every first down, it doesn't take much for a drive to stall out.
No. They're going to make their really strong tackling team very fundamentally sound. And again, that's on top of being talented. That's not like, they're the little engine that could. No. They're very talented. They have physicality. They're tough. But they do so many different things on defense with shaking up their looks, disguising coverages, bringing something here and taking something away there. And then, on top of it, they just don't beat themselves with penalties and turnovers.
Yeah, look, they have as much NIL revenue power as just about anybody in college football right now.
Yeah.
It's the Indiana Fighting Cubans. Like Mark Cuban has put a ton of. Although, did you see the report today about
Joe Buck thing
where he has seen all the issues that Troy Aikman's had doing some NIL stuff? So
well, in fairness, neither of those guys is Mark Cuban.
No, they're not.
They're not billionaires. Yeah. He can lose money forever, and he's fine.
But the point is, Indiana has taken the way college football is being played and the rules that govern it, and they have found a way to really make themselves in a good spot.
In the old format, Indiana doesn't exist.
Correct.
And this is why the new stuff, even though we don't like the chaos and there's confusion and difficulty, and there are things that need to be sorted out. We need to get the schedule fixed. We got to be on a better schedule. We've got to get this lined up more where we're not doing transfer portal during the playoffs.
Yeah.
But outside of that, this setup is so much better because it opens the door for so many more teams.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's still, I say this and I kind of like chuckle as I say it because it's such a big business. They are still somewhat beholden to the academic calendar.
Oh, no, they are,
Which makes this such a challenge.
You can't start the semester late because the classes are going.
Yeah, I mean, maybe schools need, you start offering half semester classes that basically athletes are taking as a way to circumvent the rules. I don't know. I don't know what you do, but the academic calendar does not help.
The way you do it is you finish the season earlier and maybe start it earlier.
I'd be fine with that.
And you take out the conference championship week or whatever. You got to condense it a little bit. And I know it's not perfect. I know. I get it. But we got to get better. We're not fighting for perfect. We're just fighting to be better.
Well, they always have those 0-week games.
Yeah.
You can run a full schedule that weekend.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And you could go a week before that, too. There's nothing stopping you because you got the whole summer to build up to those games.
And it would give you an advantage over the NFL. Right now, you're starting 2 weeks before the NFL. What if you started a month before the NFL?
You got room to do this thing and do it better so that you don't have coaching changes and portal stuff in the middle of the playoffs.
Sure.
That would be a better fix. And hopefully they'll figure that out. All right, NFL playoff wild card weekend. We'll talk about those games next up here on KMOX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, if you're on westbound Highway 70, it's a great run all the way out to Wentzville. Eastbound 70 still a little busy. It's east of the Blanchett into 270 now because of the earlier crash. Southbound 170 still backed up at the Parkway. Eastbound 64 bumper to bumper McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 it's just kind of slow Hampton through to about Bellevue, and then you're good to go. Just a ramp onto 70 out in Wentzville. The only thing slow there, and we still have a roadwork backup. Eastbound 44 pretty heavy from west of Hampton up to about Grand. Again, that roadwork will be out there through 8 this evening. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you on Rush Hour Sports. Shifting over to the NFL wildcard weekend. This weekend's going to be great if you're a sports fan.
It's awesome.
You know, we're still counting down to opening day. We don't get to include, hopefully we'll have some free agent stuff or trade stuff this weekend. That'd be nice, too. But college football playoff tonight, 2 NFL games tomorrow, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday night, and there are a lot of intriguing matchups. I think the wildcard round's pretty good.
I think it's great. The only game on paper that just looks like it could be a blowout is the Rams-Panthers game.
I'd be shocked if that game's close.
Outside of that, everything is and the Eagles had been 4.5-point favorites. That jumped up to 6 today.
Yeah, everybody's on the Eagles.
So that's but going into today, every game except for Rams-Panthers was a 4.5-point spread or less. And I bring that up to just show the indication that these are
expected to be good.
Yeah.
I think the Rams walk. It's going to be 71 degrees in Carolina. Like, it's perfect Rams weather. There's no detriment to them. being a warm weather team. I think they go in there and smoke a lesser team. Packers and Bears is going to be tough, man. It's a 1.5 in favor of Green Bay in Chicago, which is interesting all by itself.
Depending on where you look, some books have it at Chicago 1.5.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's been that kind of back and forth. Either way, it's basically a coin flip, even though the Bears are the home team, which makes it interesting. And it looks like there might be a blizzard during the game.
Which would be fun. Like Bears, Packers, blizzard. Let's go. Let's go.
We can rock
as long
that
as
one.
we can see the actual game. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I got a strong vibe on the Rams-Panthers. I think the Rams win easy. That one I don't have a strong vibe.
No.
I maybe slight lean to Green Bay, but very slight.
I have a slight lean to the Bears, but very slight.
Yeah, I'm not really confident. That one I'm not going to have too much extracurricular fun with.
Okay.
I'm going to lay off that one probably, unless I decide to play the total, which I may do. Bills and Jaguars is fascinating to me.
My favorite game of the weekend.
I think so. I agree that you got two. I think Lawrence has finally come into his own with Liam Cohen as the coach.
Yeah.
They have a diverse attack. They've got a bunch of good players. They've been pretty good defensively too. And the Bills are, they're 12-5. They're great. And Josh Allen's an MVP candidate. But they've been weird. There have been times this year they just don't look good. I'm not sold that the Jaguars win this game. I'll call it a coin flip. But I think there's a legit chance for the Jaguars.
Yeah, so the Bills had that period where they went back-to-back losses against the Patriots and Falcons. They've played a lot of games just way too tight. They barely beat the Browns, and they barely beat the Eagles in the final few weeks of the season. I'll say this, though, about the Bills. If they don't win this game, and if they say don't win the Super Bowl this year, and Josh Allen never wins the Super Bowl in his career, he's going to be circling the 2025-2026 season.
This is the year.
This is his opportunity.
AFC's wide open.
And he is a Hall of Fame quarterback who has never gotten the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl because of Patrick Mahomes and company.
Yeah.
Take advantage right now, because I know a lot of people are down on the Chiefs moving forward. They've got a lot of roster stuff that they need to do to get back to a place where they can make a run.
Yeah.
But you still have Andy Reid and you still have Patrick Mahomes. You're not that far away ever.
No, when you got Mahomes, you're close.
Yeah.
But they do have to fix up that roster quite a
So
bit.
if you're the Buffalo Bills, if you've been the runner-up time and time again in the AFC, this is your chance. And if you don't take advantage of it this year, well, I'm not going to feel bad for you, because if they never win the Super Bowl and let's say the Chiefs could beat them again this year, I kind of feel bad for the Bills. Just a bad period where Mahomes happened to be, or Allen happened to be in the league at the same time as Mahomes. They now have their shot. They got to go get it.
All right, we'll save the Texans Steelers for Monday since it's a Monday night game. Niners Eagles is tough. As you pointed out, a lot of money coming in on the Eagles. A lot of that is probably because Philly's played a much tougher schedule, and their record's only one game different. And I wonder if they're just a sleeping giant. But that's not a game I love, and I certainly don't love the 6 points. And I do love the Patriots.
Yeah.
In my world, Chargers are always going to Charger until they prove otherwise. And New England looks great. They're at home. It's going to be cold up in the Northeast. That's not good for a Southern California team. I think a lot points to the Patriots.
Now, I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on the Eagles, though, because they just have these, kind of like we said with the Bills, they just have these random games.
Right, where they just stink.
Yeah. And the fact that they took their foot off the pedal last week and did not walk into the 2 seed, I think San Francisco has a legitimate chance to win that game. I agree with what you said on the Patriots.
Yeah, I like them a lot. With Vrabel as the coach, Drake May's the real deal.
Yeah.
Travion Henderson's a game breaker as a running back. They're a well-balanced team. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl necessarily, but I love this matchup. And again, the Chargers are good. They're dangerous, but they are always Charger. They're always one of the weirdest teams in the NFL.
We've got like 20 seconds left, and I'll throw this at you. Do you think both Super Bowl teams are playing this weekend?
No.
Okay.
I would say yes, it's possible, but I don't think so.
I think
one of the bye teams will get there.
I don't think the Seahawks or Broncos get there.
No?
No.
All right. I think more likely Seahawks than Broncos, but I don't know, man. I'm a doubter of Darnold, so maybe I don't think that. We'll have to talk about that next week. All right, we got Sports Open Line coming up after the news on KMOX.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Deerbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, traffic looks pretty good for almost everybody. We just have a few slowdowns out there right now. If you're on southbound 170, you're still bogged down from between the Parkway and Brentwood Boulevard down to 64. Eastbound 64 from 170 through Big Bend. That's pretty heavy. Not a jam, but it's slow. Westbound 64, west of Hampton, just to McCausland. Then it opens up till you get out west. There's a little more volume now. Approaching Prospect out onto westbound 70, there are some delays there. But again, it's mainly slow going. And of course, this road work is going on till 8 or 8:30 tonight. Eastbound 44 between Kings Highway and Grand. Right lanes are closed, and eastbound 44 has delays east of Hampton through up to that Grand area right now. And tonight, overnight, from 9 tonight to 5 tomorrow morning, they're going to have the ramp from 8 at northbound 55 closed for road work. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. An early evening vigil is held after the shooting death of Renee Good by an ICE agent in South Minneapolis. Another video of Wednesday's shooting has been made public, a video by the officer himself. CBS's Usher Qureshi.
It shows the officer walking up on the SUV and the moment before he starts firing those shots up until the part where he does open fire, killing Renee Good. And it's hard to make out. Some of the audio is a little bit garbled. You can hear and see some of the interaction there.
Vice President J.D. Vance repeats his claim that the officer fired in self-defense. As it's doing in Minneapolis, the FBI is also investigating the shooting of 2 people by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents in Portland, Oregon yesterday. Homeland Security says the driver, who used his vehicle as a weapon, is from Venezuela and is in this country illegally. Police Chief Bob Day.
A gentleman was shot in the arm, and we applied a tourniquet upon arrival, and the female was shot in the chest. I was told today that they both had to have surgery. They're in stable condition. We're grateful for that.
Chief Day confirms that the 2 do have some involvement with Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. President Trump has met at the White House today with top executives from American oil companies.
The meeting follows the U.S. ouster of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. President Trump says this paves the way for the U.S. oil companies to return.
We will more closely integrate the economies of two major energy powers.
That integration, which includes rebuilding U.S. oil company infrastructure, will create what the president describes as a global energy powerhouse.
Together, we have 55% of the oil in the world.
Trump says decades ago, Venezuela stole U.S. assets. Now the U.S. is taking it back. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
A judge says she will rule at a later date on the defense's request to prevent prosecutors from seeking the death penalty against the man who's accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Odyssey New York reporter Mary Lynn Buckley.
Luigi Mangioni's team of defense attorneys pleaded with the judge to have the death penalty tossed out, and they also want pieces of evidence completely dismissed from the prosecution's discovery. The prosecution asking the judge to set an official trial date, saying there's many witnesses from out of state that need to come in to testify for the trial. The judge wasn't ready to set an official date yet, but she did suggest jury selection beginning as soon as September 8th.
Employers added 50,000 jobs in December, nearly unchanged from a downwardly revised figure of 56,000 in November. The unemployment rate slipped to 4.4%. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At 6:03, partly cloudy conditions. Right now, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch. The St. Louis Health Department confirms multiple monkeys are on the loose near O'Fallon Park on the north side. Environmental Health Bureau Chief Justin Hauser says the first reports came in yesterday and they have been corroborated by law enforcement witnesses. Where did the monkeys come from remains a mystery, he says.
At this time, we don't know where the animals came from. Owning an exotic animal like a primate is prohibited by city ordinance, and we would like to stress that residents should not approach these monkeys or attempt to capture them.
Hauser says even St. Louis Animal Control is not equipped to capture these monkeys. They will call in additional agencies who specialize in primates. A years-long moratorium on promotions within the city fire department has finally come to an end today.
Fire Captain Jessica D. Jackson.
Robert Eveland had been waiting 4 years for his promotion to battalion chief.
Relief. Glad that it was all over. It's been, like I said, going on 4 years, and we were just ready for it to be over.
Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson.
But I also know what it takes as far as the sacrifice from the families to allow that firefighter to spend endless hours studying and endless hours away from home.
In total, 8 battalion chiefs and 19 captains were promoted. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Kansas City State Representative Michael Johnson says Missouri was used to up the ante for Kansas. His remarks followed the Chiefs' planned move to Kansas by 2031.
I looked at it as a political grab. We were kept in the main frame of things while the talks were going on, but I think that we were actually used just as a part of a bidding war.
The Royals are still deciding where in Missouri they'll go. Kansas says they've missed the deadline to get state money to move across the line. An investigation is underway after a child died at a daycare facility.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a 1-year-old yesterday at a daycare just outside the Potosi city limits. It appears the child squeezed through a small opening on a slide on the playground and the child's head became lodged, cutting off oxygen. Sheriff's deputies initiated CPR. Fire department personnel took over, but they were unable to revive the child. The investigation is ongoing. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Four champions will be crowned tonight as the U.S. Figure Skating Championships continue at Enterprise Center. The main event tonight is the free skate. Amber Glenn tries to hold on to her lead against former champion Alyssa Liu, as well as Isabeau Levito. Before the women take the ice for the primetime finale, the pairs competition wraps up its free skate. Alisa Imafoba and Misha Mitrofanov held a comfortable lead in that. Live coverage of the evening session begins at 6:30 on NBC Channel 5. And if you're headed to Enterprise Center, out for dinner or other Friday plans, let's get you to Roger Brand right now.
Yeah, that's the only place we have delays, Michael, is folks probably heading downtown for the figure skating championships, because that's the eastbound is the only direction we have slowdowns. South 170, of course, coming down to eastbound 64. South 170 slow at the Parkway onto eastbound 64, which is slow from 170 through Big Bend, and then downtown there's a little heavy traffic right around that Enterprise Center exit at 14th Street. And eastbound 44, there's a little heavy traffic east of Hampton through Kings Highway toward Grand. Again, they have roadwork going on that will be wrapped up at 8 or 8:30 this evening, so it won't be out there for too much longer. Other than that, the rest of the highway's in great shape. Just an overnight closure to be aware of tonight from 9 till 5 tomorrow morning. The ramp from Highway 8 and northbound 55 will be shut down for road work. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's FlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We have another cold front dropping our way in the northwest flow, so we're going to get colder as we go through the weekend. The coldest is going to be on Sunday. A lot of clouds around this evening and overnight. I can't rule out a couple of showers, but they're really late tonight. It's cold, but it's not cold enough. 38 will do it for the low. On Saturday, changeable sky, a mix of clouds and sunshine, a couple of sprinkles, even a couple of snow flurries here and there. Windy and cold, 45 for the high, feels colder. Saturday night, partly cloudy, still a chance of a couple of sprinkles or snow flurries. It stays windy and 25. And Sunday, to round out the weekend, sunny and cold. Have to keep it kind of windy on Sunday and only 36. Have a great weekend from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It is a partly cloudy sky at the moment, 47 downtown at the Arch. Matt Pauley's next. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Live. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Here we go on a Friday night. Welcome in. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. I've got you till 8 o'clock this evening. We only have one guest today, which is great. Jerry Palm's going to be with us, joining in about 12 minutes or so. He's going to talk with us about the college football playoff. Tonight's game is 25 minutes away from kicking off. We'll play back some audio from Jim Montgomery. He spoke earlier today. The Blues have a late night game tonight, playing out in Salt Lake City against the Utah Mammoth. But outside of that, you got me and I got you. So we'll probably, we don't do this as often as I'd like to. We'll probably open up the phone lines a bit today at 314-436-7900. Here's what I actually like to do. So we'll see when we get to it, but just kind of put this in the back of your mind. Because like during the holiday period, basically we didn't have any sports open lines. We've had a lot of short shows, whether it's because of football or basketball or whatever it might be. We haven't done a lot of 2-hour shows like this where we've got a little bit of time to breathe and talk through some things. So we will get to your calls later on, and I am curious to hear from you, like specifically call, and we'll take text messages. You can text in at 314-436-7900. You can certainly tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air. For those of you who are watching on the video stream, we welcome your comments as well on the chat. But I do feel like sometimes the messaging we get from social media doesn't totally represent what everybody is feeling. So as we're past the new year now and we're getting closer and closer to pitchers and catchers reporting, I would be very curious to see where Cardinals fans are at with this thing, how they feel about the work that Chaim Bloom has done so far, even though it feels incomplete at this point with people like Brendan Donovan and JoJo Romero and Nolan Arenado on the roster, 3 players who I think are going to be traded before the season does get started and probably even before spring training gets started, but certainly no guarantee of that. The Ketel Marte news from today is notable from a Brendan Donovan standpoint because the Diamondbacks have said they're not going to trade him, that they have essentially taken him off the market. Now, I will remind you that can be a negotiating ploy. There's nothing stopping other teams from calling up the Diamondbacks and offering them players for Marte like that. That can happen. So just because they say that, or just because it's being reported, but basically he seems to be off the market, and that would appear at a surface level good for the Cardinals, because now teams that are in that market for someone who can play second base, there is one less guy, and that guy is really, really good. And Marte, one less guy available, that may make the Donovan situation a little bit different, where if a team kind of looked at Donovan as being their backup plan because they were really going hard after Marte, well, now all of a sudden Donovan might not be the backup plan anymore. He might be the primary focus, and if that's the case, that could potentially change the type of return that the Cardinals get for him. I have no clue. There was the Ken Rosenthal report a few days ago about basically the Cardinals view Donovan as a star, and therefore that's the type of return they're looking, the return that they would get for a star player, and it was kind of inferred that the industry is pushing back on that. Again, I take reports like that with a complete and total grain of salt for sure, but I don't have much of a grasp or much of an expectation on what the Cardinals are going to get back for Donovan. I would be absolutely shocked but pleasantly surprised if they go get like a top 50 level prospect as part of a package for him. It seems like somebody on the backside of the top 100 would be somewhat likely, but I don't know. I don't know what it's going to end up looking like when all is said and done. Well, also, the bulk of the show today actually is going to be spent kind of talking through some of the things that Rob Manfred has said in the last day or so. So Rob Manfred's done some media. He was on WFAN in New York with Craig Carden, our sister station, and he has floated out the idea of an in-season tournament, which I hate. He floated out the idea of a off-season signing window or a signing deadline. I think he used the term signing deadline, which I don't like, but I like that conversation is at least getting started, because I do think Major League Baseball needs to assess the way they do handle the offseason and what they can potentially do to keep a spotlight on the sport as much as possible. Kevin Wheeler and I were talking about this off air a little bit before the show. We never got to it in Rush Hour Sports. But he and I disagree a little bit on that, because I do think Rob Manfred's right in that there is value in more activity in the offseason and trying to get most of that activity to happen, say, in December, and certainly well before pitchers and catchers are reporting, where there's already a spotlight on the sport. In the kitchen here at KMOX, Kevin and I were talking about that, and Kevin pushed back on that and said, well, what value does that really bring? So we will discuss that. In-season tournament. That Manfred also talked about divisions, because they are going to do baseball realignment. And this surprised me, because when everybody has put together the what the new divisions might look like, or what the new quads may look like, a lot of people have thought that they're going to add 2 more teams and go to 32, and that creates a scenario where you can have groups of 4 in these divisions or quads, whatever you want to call them. Most times, like for example, in our region, the assumption has been that both Chicago teams would be in a division or a quad together. The White Sox and the Cubs, Yankees and Mets would be together. Dodgers and Angels and Padres would be together. The SoCal teams. Well, Manfred did not get into any details, but he said that's not actually what he wants. That in his thought process on the realignment of baseball, that the Cubs and White Sox would not be in the same division together. And that has an impact on the Cardinals, because you would assume that the Cardinals and Cubs are going to remain together. You would think that they would probably want to keep the Cubs and Brewers together. You would think that they would probably want to have the Brewers and Twins together. You would think the Cardinals, they'd probably want to have the Royals with them being in the same. Like, there's all these things. And then when you add in the fact that you have to have rivals for these other, teams as well, geographically, it may not be as easy as people have put it together. So those are our baseball topics that we're going to get to. We got a lot of baseball to get to today, and that's where we're going to be welcoming in your phone calls and your text messages and everything to comment in on all these different things, because we got a ton of baseball stuff to get in. We're going to talk through all these various things that that were out there. So we'll do a little bit of football. Jerry Palm is going to join us in mere moments. We'll talk with him about the National College Football Playoff semifinal game that is going on this evening, and we'll look back at yesterday today as well. That's all coming up in just a moment. You are locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Experience a celebration of movement and music as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis Dance Theater join together for Stravinsky and Debussy Music and Motion. This adventurous collaboration reimagines Stravinsky's Pulcinella Suite in an entirely new way that celebrates powerful partnerships between dance and music. January 10th and 11th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Attention, Missouri baby boomers. The Give 5 program wants to connect you with volunteer opportunities that fit your skills and passions. Learn how you can lend a helping hand and bring positive change to those who need it most in just 5 hours a month. Signing up is easy. Just attend our next free class in your local community. Visit our website at MissouriGive5.org to find a class near you. Brought to you by Missouri Area Agencies on Aging.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means, at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part? Your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound. It's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It's 2026, and it's time to get your home zero-resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119, plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMOX special. Zero Res, STL.com.
This is Senator Eric Schmidt congratulating KMOX and its 50,000 red-hot watts on 100 years on the air in St. Louis.
It's Grab Our Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. Tonight it is the next college football playoff semifinal. Last night, Miami advancing with a win against Ole Miss, and tonight it's going to be Indiana and Oregon. We're so happy to be able to welcome back onto the program one of our absolute favorite people to be able to talk college athletics with. You check out his website. You should be checking out his website on an everyday basis. It is palmbrackets.com. Again, palm, like the palm of your hand, palmbrackets.com. He is Jerry Palm. Jerry, thanks for coming back on KMOX. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing all right. Last night's game was certainly entertaining. Before we get to Miami, how much credit do you give Ole Miss for everything they've gone through, losing their coach, losing assistant coaches as the week is going along, reports of other assistant coaches basically recruiting some of the kids to try to get them to LSU. Like, so much strife was going on, yet they played. They could have won that game last night. That was a remarkable run for them.
Oh, fabulous. And you're right. I mean, there was, for those of you who think that, all the stuff going on off the field can affect the team, and it absolutely can, you really have to give Ole Miss a lot of credit for, just focusing on the task at hand. I think it helped that when Kiffin left, they appointed a permanent coach. They didn't appoint an interim coach. So now you've got, there's just a stability in that. And I think that helped a lot. And also, they had good game plans. They had good players. Chambliss was terrific yesterday in a losing effort, and he was probably the better of the two quarterbacks, which is saying something because Beck was also pretty good. But, tremendous game, great, drama the whole way. It was if you weren't entertained by that, you just can't be entertained.
Are you at all surprised, like in this era that we're living in right now where the NCAA lets guys, Penn State just signed a kid who's going into his 8th year of eligibility. Are you at all surprised that Trinidad Chambliss was not given a 6th year of eligibility by the NCAA?
Yeah, but I don't know the circumstance. The NCAA is, I don't know that they're just pulling names out of a hat or anything like that. There's probably something in whatever those rules are that prevented them from doing it. But, it's kind of weird how old players can get anymore. And now they're, in basketball at least, and probably other sports too, you can get guys coming out of the pros to play, which Baylor just did. And we've seen European pros have come over and play in college ball. At Purdue's got a guy. Obermeyer from Israel. So you see that a lot, but now you're getting American players that have, were drafted in the NBA, but as long as you don't sign a contract, I guess you still have college eligibility. There might be some 30-year-old guy out there who's still got eligibility because he never signed a contract.
Yeah, it's the Wild West for sure. So when all of a sudden guardrails are put in, it feels a little off, but maybe that's a step in the right direction. Miami gets that win last night, and they were not perfect. It felt like they kept shooting themselves in the foot, but somehow, some way, they found a way. So I guess give credit to a Miami team that made so many mistakes yet still won.
Yeah, resilient is what they are. It's and they have to be, because as talented as they are, they're not always the most talented team on the field, just in pure athletic ability. And but Carson Beck would make one bad play and two good ones to make up for it. The touchdown run, that play call was great because it shifted everybody over to one side, and it opened up a lane for him in case he couldn't throw the ball. Now, that probably isn't why they ran that play or how that play was intended to be executed, but it sure worked out well for them. And good on him for being able to see that, that wide open run to the end zone, and that's just making a play. And when you get these guys that have been around a long time like he has, then you get that experience, and you can read these situations and make plays.
Just the fact that they were able to win in the fashion that they did, what is, from a talent standpoint, because, this is a Miami team that just barely sneaks into the playoff. They get in and they go on this run. Like, what is it that has led them from being a team that almost didn't get into the playoff at all to all of a sudden be one win away from a national championship.
Well, Miami's a good defensive team, and the old adage is that defense wins championships. That they rely on their defense. They rely on their running game. You've got now a quarterback who obviously is a pretty good quarterback thrower as well. But, I just think that part of it is just attitude, and part of it is circumstance. We've seen so far, for example, that getting a bye is not a blessing in this system.
Yeah.
Indiana is the first team and only team to win after having a month off. It's almost a full month off before you play again. And it's really hard to keep your edge. When you're sitting around that long and you're home for the holidays at some point, you probably have final exams for the kids that are, sticking around as students. It's hard. And I don't think it's a coincidence that those teams are 1-7. And so Miami, really had the benefit of, even though you have to play a road game in their case, of, not having to wait so long to play.
Are they going to get this calendar fixed at some point? Because it is, all aspects of the college football calendar, to the layoff, to how much time you have to wait for when the transfer portal is open. Everything about it to me seems terrible.
Yeah, I think the fix for this is they expand to 16 and everybody's on the same calendar. Everybody's playing that first week. And then you can still use the bowls the way you use the bowls, but now you don't have teams sitting around longer than everybody else. And so my guess is that's how they would fix that problem if they're intent on fixing that problem. There's probably bigger plans in mind, at least in some people's minds, and probably the SEC and the Big Ten. We'll see what they do, but I think at a minimum they need to go to 16 just so everybody can be on the same calendar.
Do you eliminate the conference championship weekend?
Not necessarily, because you're only adding one game for 4 teams. And you're adding 4 teams. So you're adding 4 new teams, and then you're adding one game for the 4 that had byes. And, they'll probably be just as happy because, as we've learned, it's not really an advantage.
Tonight's game, it's going to begin underway shortly. It's a rematch of a game earlier this year, Oregon and Indiana. Indiana just continues to be an absolute juggernaut. Every time it feels like maybe they've run into a team that's going to give them something, they steamroll them the way they did against Alabama previously. There's a lot of folks in St. Louis pulling for Indiana. Our media market here is filled with Indiana folks, so it feels like maybe there's a skew here in St. Louis, but Indiana seems to be well positioned going into tonight's game.
They feel inevitable, don't they?
Yeah.
They're the team that figured out how to win with a month off. Now they're going to play a team they already know how to beat. They just feel, like this juggernaut that you wonder how you're ever going to beat them, at least this year. So, Signetti's done a great job turning that program around. I, of course, am from Indiana, but I went to Purdue. So, I'm rooting for Oregon tonight. But for most of the state, it's all IU fever, and it should be, because this is a tremendous team. And I hesitate to say program because it's only 2 years, but boy, it's funny how fast you can turn things around in college sports these days.
Is the equation for Oregon finding a way to win just Dante Moore taking over the game?
Well, also the defense has to step up. I think if IU scores 30 points again, that's going to be hard to overcome. So they're going to have to find a way to create turnovers, make some plays on defense, get some stops. Obviously, 30 points, you're getting stops, but they just need to assert themselves defensively and ideally cause some turnovers so that you get their offense off the field and get short fields for yourself on occasion, but just get them off the field without points. And the more that they can do that, obviously, you keep them from scoring, you got a better chance to win.
What's your initial just reaction to the fact that now we're going on 3 years without an SEC team in the national championship?
Yeah, well, everybody cycles. And the SEC is at least in the playoffs in a down cycle. They do well in the regular season still. But I think, and part of that scheduling. But it's just one of those things where it's not working out for them. And, they've been putting, like, Georgia's 0 for 2 in the quarterfinals. It's hard to it's hard to get your best team to put their to advance in this system, and their best teams have not been advancing, and that's a problem.
With Jerry Palm. One last thing for you, jumping over to college basketball. It feels like a golden age right now in St. Louis because St. Louis University is absolutely rolling.
Yeah,
they won at the Siegel Center for the first time ever at VCU. On that same night, Missouri wins at Rupp Arena for the first time ever. Oh, yeah, by the way, Illinois is a top 20 team. If you love college basketball, right now is a good time to be a college basketball fan here in the St. Louis area.
Yeah, well, SLU went out and hired the Indiana State coach and brought some of his players with him. And, that's a guy who knows how to build a program and is a good coach. And, the SLU is going to be a team to watch. I think when they get to the tournament, you're going to see that they are a team that a lot of people's brackets are going to be picked to go a game or two deep, at least into this tournament. And, Mizzou is coming along as a program. It's, Dennis Gates has done a great job there getting this thing moving, and Illinois is always good. So it's a great year for college basketball. I'm pretty excited about it. And like I said before, I'm a Purdue fan. Boilermakers are looking pretty good too.
Yeah, they had that one game. What was it against Iowa State where they kind of laid an egg, but outside of that, they have looked absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, second half they couldn't make a basket to save their lives, but it's they're looking really good too. There are so many good players and teams now in college basketball that the NCAA tournament is going to be wide open, I think.
He is Jerry Palm. You follow him on Twitter at JPPalm85. His website is an absolute must visit. You should be doing it on a daily basis. PalmBrackets.com, P-A-L-M brackets.com. Check it out for yourself. He is Jerry Palm. Jerry, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy watching the game tonight, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot of college basketball here over the next few months.
All right, thanks.
Awesome. Very good. That's Jerry Palm joining us on the program. We appreciate him taking a moment or so with us. It really, we got that college basketball question in at the end. How awesome was it the other night when SLU goes to VCU and winning in that specific building, the Siegel Center? They've never done that. And then that same night, Missouri goes to Kentucky and wins at Rupp Arena for the first time ever, which was remarkable that's never happened. And I mean, not that they've played a ton of games there because they haven't been in the SEC that long, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. It was a special night, and Illinois is a really, really good team. And I think Jerry was right when he said that this year the NCAA tournament is going to be wide open. I also really, because we think about SLU as being a team, and they are, what I'm about to say is not incorrect. We think about SLU being a team that's going to have to fight scratch and claw their way into the NCAA tournament and might have to win their league tournament to be able to get in. Nice to hear somebody like Jerry Palm talk as if it's a foregone conclusion that SLU is going to be an NCAA tournament team. And they are receiving some votes in the top 25. This past Monday, let's see, they were the unofficial 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30. They were the unofficial number 32 team in the nation in terms of receiving votes. They were about the same place when it comes to the coaches poll. So that's good to see, and it's a lot of fun right now for this college basketball community here in the area. All right, we are going to. So this is what I want to do. In fact, if you want to chime in, we'll give you the opportunity to do so. You can call in at 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me as well, at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. And you can also leave a comment on the video stream. We're going to do mostly baseball for about the next hour or so. In about an hour, we're going to hear from Blues coach Jim Montgomery. So from now until about 7:30, it's going to be baseball. I would love for you to be involved in the conversation. If you would like to be involved, we'll talk through the Cardinals and their offseason and everything. Would love to know where you stand on things, maybe what questions you might have, how you feel about some of the stuff that Hein Bloom has done, and then the overlying kind of thing that we're going to be talking through is some of the comments that were made by Rob Manfred about the direction that he wants to send the game of baseball as he is into his final few years as the commissioner of baseball. He did say that he is not, after this contract is up, he is done. He is not going to go back on it, that he is going to be done as the commissioner. So we're also going to have a new commissioner at some point in the next few years. So we're doing baseball for the next hour. Would love for you to be a part of it at 314-436-7900 or by tweeting at me or texting or leaving a video message. And we'll come back and have more in just a moment. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain.
I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
It is time for the NFL playoffs, and DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Look, we know it. You're hearing from a whole bunch of different sports books. What makes DraftKings different? Well, one of the things, I love this. Prop bets are so much fun, especially live prop bets as you're watching the games, and it just adds a little, in St. Louis, we don't have a team, so maybe you can sit there. You have a little bit more of a vested interest if you've got a couple bucks on something going on, and DraftKings has your back. They do something called early exit protection. I love this. If a player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you're still going to get paid in cash. There is literally no reason to do prop betting with any other sports book when DraftKings is sitting here giving you first half guarantees. It is absolutely awesome. They are the best when it comes to live betting, and that's a way to really enjoy sitting down and watching football. You got to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. You use code KMOX, that is code KMOX, and you can turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions do apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. It's a limited time offer.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
This weekend is an NFL Wild Card weekend, and Saturday night, the Packers head to the Windy City to face the Bears.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 7 p.m. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Packers, the Bears, on America's Sports Voice, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley, continuing to take you through this Friday evening. We are with you until 8 o'clock tonight. And for the next little bit less than an hour, we are going to be doing nothing but baseball. And we welcome in your phone calls. This is the open line portion of Sports Open Line. Your text, your tweets, your video chat messages are also welcome. If you do want to call, the phone number is 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or you can leave a comment on the chat if you are watching on the video stream on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We are there for you, and we can certainly address your comments as we go along. So it's kind of a twofold thing. I blocked out a pretty significant amount of time here to talk to you if you have any thoughts on what the Cardinals have done, if you're happy with the way this kind of rebuild and the moves that have been made, if you're wanting more, if you don't understand why more has not been done, all of that is on the table. I also wanted to spend a significant amount of time today talking through some of what Rob Manfred, the baseball commissioner, has said. And he said a lot, and that's when I was thinking through the show today, I wanted to put together a significant amount of time because I don't even know if this is going to be enough time to talk through everything that he has said. So we're just going to kind of go one by one. He was doing a radio interview, WFAN in New York, and he said that he would like to put some sort of free agent signing deadline in place. That immediately got pushback from Tony Clark, the head of the Players Union, as you might expect. Like Rob Manfred and the owners can't say anything without Tony Clark pushing back. But some players pushed back as well. In fact, Brent Rooker of the A's, who we've talked about on this show before, who's a really, really good follow on social media, and he's a lot of fun. He called the idea of a free agent signing deadline as, quote, pretty close to the most anti-player idea you could possibly have. Now, it's hard to talk about this without knowing what exactly a free agent signing deadline actually looks like. Because you can't have all of your if guys are now all of a sudden, if the deadline, I'm trying to it's wacky to talk through, so that's why I'm stammering here. If you put a deadline in place of February 1st and there's a bunch of dudes who have not signed and it's February 1st, that doesn't mean they're not going to be able to sign and they're not going to be able to play. So, again, he did not give details to the signing deadline, so it's a little bit hard for me to talk through what it looks like. But one possible idea that's been thrown out there is that there is a signing deadline, and then maybe if you sign after that deadline, there are restrictions on what type of contract you can sign, or maybe it's a window situation where there are signing windows in the offseason. And I think all those things are different things. I'm with Brent Rooker. I want there to be a spotlight on baseball in the offseason. What the motivation for Rob Manfred saying what he's saying, I agree with. We are like-minded in what is motivating him to say these things. What we're not like-minded with is the actual execution, because Brent Rooker is right and other players are right. If you put in a signing deadline, let's say the signing deadline is February 1st, well, then on the final day of January, teams are, and maybe what it is if you don't sign before February 1st, you can only sign a one-year contract, or there's a limit on how much you can make. I don't know. You can only sign a veteran minimum contract after a certain date. I don't know what it looks like, but let's just say there is something that would be very restrictive to players making money. Brent Rooker's right when he says that is the most anti-player idea you could possibly have. And Rob Manfred has a problem with the players. There is a feeling amongst Major League Baseball players, especially the power brokers in Major League Baseball. In fact, there was the story that got out because Rob Manfred did a tour and met with teams across Major League Baseball, and when he was around the Phillies and Bryce Harper was in there, Harper very vehemently with strong language basically told Manfred that he was not welcome in that clubhouse. And as you might expect, that did not go well. So there is already this feeling amongst players that Rob Manfred does not have their best interest in mind. And he doesn't, by the way. He has the best interest in mind of the owners because that's his job. He works for the owners. It hasn't always been that way. You go back to previous commissioners, and commissioners were basically independent, where they were working for the game of baseball, working for players and owners. And I would love for it to go back to being that way. But the way it is now is the commissioner works for the owners. And that's not going to change. As much as I might love the idea of it changing, it simply is not going to change, barring something crazy happening. So yeah, that restricts the ability, that restricts the earning potential for players. Because if you know that there is this deadline, and again, the arbitrary date of February 1st, when you get to the final day of January, the deals that you have are the deals that you have, and there's no more room for negotiation. So I don't like the idea of the deadline, but what I do like, I think there are other ways to make this work. I'd be okay with windows and some legal tampering periods. I've talked about this a lot. I would, the new league year starts on December 1st. And generally the winter meetings are starting on December 8th or something. You could easily hold free agency until December 1st and start a legal tampering period for a week or so, and then open up the ability to sign when the winter meetings get started. And then there's an opportunity when there is a huge spotlight on the sport for a bunch of news to start coming through, because you're almost assured that some deals would have been worked out during that period. Maybe you take that and you say December is a period where you can sign, or the first half of December, or you take it up until around Christmas or so, and maybe you close the window, and around January 15th or something, you open up a second window. I don't know if you're allowed to talk during that off period or what it might be, but maybe you do close down a window at some point in time in terms of actually being able to sign deals. The idea of going quiet during that period, I would kind of like that, but I also don't believe for a second that baseball general managers and baseball president of baseball operations and player agents and things like that would not be communicating in some way, shape, or form during that period. It was also brought up, and I think this is a really good counterpoint. I think it's a really good counterpoint, and it was in that Evan Drellich article in The Athletic that I'm referencing. The counterpoint to all this is you as a team and as an organization want to be able to counteract other things that happen. So let's say the Cardinals were in a competitive window right now. They're not, but let's pretend they were. The Cubs go out and acquire Cabrera from the Marlins a couple days ago. Well, all of a sudden, what if the Cardinals, or you could apply this, I say the Brewers aren't going to make big noise in the offseason, but how about the Reds? All of a sudden, the Reds feel like, 72 hours ago, you felt like your roster stood right there next to the Cubs. 48 hours ago, you think, you know what? With them adding a guy, it's a little bit different. That puts pressure on us to do something. So that's the organic things that happen during the offseason. There's a reaction to it. So if you're sitting there and putting in some sort of restriction, that limits the opportunity to react to what other teams do, and I wouldn't want that either. We will take a break. We've got more. We got Rob Manfred said a ton of stuff, so we're going to go through a lot of it between now and 7:30. Starting to get some text messages that are coming in. You can call in 314-436-7900 if you'd like. We're talking all things baseball. We're back with more in just a moment. You're locked in. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Real estate investing isn't just about numbers. It can change your life. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we teach you how to invest in real estate with purpose, real-world strategy, and a focus on income you can build over time. Many of our members start to see how the right investment can create income, stability, and even improve communities. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft shoes, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules. Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We're back at it on KMOX as we do continue on. We are welcoming your various forms of getting in contact with us. If you want to call, the phone number is 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call or text. You can tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air, or you can leave a message on the video chat if you are watching us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I've kind of thrown it out there that baseball-wise, whatever's on your mind, we can talk through it. We got a little bit of time here, and would love to hear what your thoughts are on where the Cardinals are at and what Chaim Bloom is trying to accomplish right now, if you're happy with it or not happy with it. So that's sort of the question that's out there if you want to get in here. But we got an outside-the-box text message from Craig in St. Louis. Craig said, playoff baseball is so interesting compared to regular season baseball. What if regular season win-loss record was of series instead of single games? I think it would make regular season 3 times more interesting. I realize logistics of having every series be a 3-game series would be difficult, but it's my idea of making the regular season more interesting. Craig, I appreciate the outside-the-boxness of, is that a term, of your text. I don't like it. It'd be way too gimmicky for me. I think you're incorrect in saying that things are going to be more interesting. Essentially, there's not that many sweeps in baseball as is. I mean, there's some. It's not like there's none, but a lot of series are 1-2-1, 4-game series, 2-2, things like that. We always talk about just win series and you're going to be okay. So if your system were to put in place, I actually don't think there would be, say, one team won the first game and the second team won the other game, and then you go into a third game, and then whoever was going to get credit for the series win was up for that third game. Like I actually don't think that there would be that much more attention on that third game than what there is in regular season games. Like it's again, outside the box thought. I don't think it would have that much impact. I also don't like the idea of ever playing games that are meaningless. So if you go win the first 2 games of a series and then all of a sudden you're playing that third game, it doesn't have meaning to it. That's bad. That's not good. So, Craig, I appreciate you listening. I'm not trying to poo-poo your idea. I appreciate the creativeness of the idea, but I am not in on that one for sure. It's just not something that I would be interested in seeing. We've got another hour of the program coming up, and then when we get done today, we are going to have our Gas House Gang replay. Got a message on the video chat asking about when Katie Wu was going to be on the station. She was on today during the Gas House Gang at 12:30, so she'll be on at 8:30. So our good friend Katie Wu, who is leaving the Cardinal beat with the Athletic to go to the Dodgers beat, she spoke today with Chris Ranji and Mike Claiborne, and you're going to be able to hear that conversation, which was really, really good because Katie's the best. You're going to be able to hear that conversation coming up at 8:30 this evening. Also, an update on the football game. Indiana is up on Oregon 7-0 after Indiana had a pick six on the first play of the game. First play of the game, pick six, return for a touchdown. Indiana is up 7-0. We'll keep you updated on that as we go along. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Improve balance at any age. The Mayo Clinic suggests adding specific daily exercises for better stability. Balance on one foot using an object for support if you need it. Then switch legs. Try standing up from a seated position without using your hands, or walk a line, heel to toe for a short distance. Tai Chi, with its gentle flowing movements, is also proven to improve balance. I'm Margie Schaefer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation. Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The wait is over, and we are now selling at the Reserve at Wildwood. The early bird gets the worm, so call today and pick the home of your dreams at the coveted Wildwood Town Center, located at Highway 100 and 109. You will love the design of the Reserve with its extensive trails and wooded common ground. In a park-like setting, select from our popular Liberty or luxurious designer series homes from the 560s. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. An early evening vigil is held at the Minnesota State Capitol after the shooting death of Renee Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis Wednesday. Rabbi Jason Rodich.
We stand here with our beautiful differences and in unity with our grief and determination. And we stand here because Renee Nicole Good was murdered by forces of evil.
This man attended the vigil.
In this country, we have trials, and we have judges, and we have juries, and we do not have public executions.
Video from the ICE agent with a new angle on Wednesday's shooting is shared by the White House, with Vice President J.D. Vance repeating his argument that the officer fired in self-defense. No comment yet on that video by Minnesota officials. Leaders in Portland, Oregon are pushing for federal agents to leave after a shooting sent 2 people to the hospital. The Portland police chief confirms that the man and woman have ties to a Venezuelan gang. KXL's Heather Roberts has spoken with Oregon Democratic U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley.
Senator Merkley lives within blocks of the shooting. He tells me he's frustrated with the lack of communication from the administration.
We have much less information than we would have expected.
And what they have released so far, he says, is suspect.
Because the Secretary of Homeland Security and her officials that work with her have lied to the American public and to Congress time and time again, we are at this unfortunate moment in which we cannot trust the information that comes from them.
Heather Roberts for CBS News, Portland, Oregon.
Homeland Security says the driver, who was in the U.S. illegally, weaponized his vehicle, causing an agent to fire a defensive shot. President Trump hosted oil executives at the White House today to talk about investing in Venezuela after the recent events. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The interim authorities in Venezuela realize the game has changed.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the interactions have been fantastic.
The United States is now in a very strong position because we're controlling the sale of their oil. But right now we're doing it massively for their benefit. We're selling their oil at a higher price. We're collecting money in U.S.-controlled accounts, and we're delivering money to the interim authorities in Venezuela.
In return, he says they have promised to work with the U.S. to improve safety and restore relations. But he said that will take some time.
A judge for now stops the Trump administration's freeze on child care and other social service funding for 5 states. The government says employers added 50,000 jobs to payrolls in December as the unemployment rate ticked down from 4.5% to 4.4%. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
It is a job market that shows a lot of cooling since the summer of 2025, but it is not falling apart.
This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 7:03, it's a cloudy sky. At the moment, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Monkey business is afoot in the city.
The Department of Health has confirmed to KMOX they are trying to find multiple monkeys that are on the loose near the O'Fallon Park neighborhood since Thursday afternoon. Environmental Health Bureau Chief Justin Hauser says capturing these monkeys will require outside help.
We have engaged with multiple partner agencies so that once the location of the monkeys is confirmed, those agencies that are properly trained and equipped can work to capture the monkeys.
Hauser says the St. Louis Zoo has identified them as vervant monkeys, which are intelligent but can be unpredictable. Where these monkeys came from is not known. He adds if you spot one, do not approach it and instead call animal control at 314-657-1500. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Kansas City State Representative Michael Johnson says the Chiefs' future move to Kansas is a political grab.
It seems as if, though, we were just used to up the ante for Kansas at the end of the day. But yet, in Kansas, everything has not been finalized yet, so we still have another possible opportunity to see if we can keep the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Missouri offered to pay up to 50% of the cost to build or upgrade stadiums for the Chiefs and or the Royals. The women are taking center stage tonight at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships at Enterprise Center. Amber Glenn enters the free skate in first place, hoping for her 3rd straight national title and a spot on the U.S. Olympic team. She faces close competition. The final group takes the ice at Enterprise Center just after 9 p.m. Broadcast on NBC has already started. Republican candidate for Illinois Governor Darren Bailey rolls out what he called a blueprint for the state under his potential leadership in the highest profile attack yet on the Pritzker administration. Here's Jeff Buchholz.
Bailey and his running mate
State. Aaron Del Mar stood outside the governor's office at the state capitol in Springfield and spelled out how they plan to get inside, starting with driving down costs for families.
Affordability alone isn't enough. Families also expect safety, accountability, and a government that they can trust.
At its heart, what Bailey calls the Illinois version of former Trump advisor Elon Musk's Doge budget-slashing campaign, even as questions linger about its methods and the actual savings. Del Mar addressed that controversy.
People may not like the brand and they may not like the name, but I guarantee you they are going to love the results.
In Joliet, Governor Pritzker says Illinois doesn't need a Doge, and the state's inspector general constantly audits operations.
I don't think anybody in Illinois thinks that we ought to do what Elon Musk did to the federal government.
Bailey says the governor's allowed what he called hatred of the president to consume him, and Illinois is worse off for it.
Forecast overnight, a few light rain showers late tonight, low 38. For tomorrow, we could start off with a few sprinkles and flurries. Otherwise, partly sunny, a little bit colder, high 44. For tomorrow night, 25. And for Sunday, sunny, high 36. Right now, we've got 46 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Back at it as we are into the second and final hour of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. There is a different type of sport going on, actually a couple of different kinds of sports going on right now in St. Louis. The figure skating championships going on, but also, Michael, the sport of monkey catching.
Barrel of monkeys.
Yes, Michael Calhoun from the news department joins us. You've heard him and Sean Malone talking all day about it. Is it now being reported that there are 4 loose monkeys in North St. Louis?
4 is the number they believe. The official term that they're using is multiple monkeys, but eyewitness reports indicate there may be as many as 4.
All right, so let's do this. If you have seen the monkeys, text in at 314-436-7900, and over the final hour of the program, we can do monkey reports, where if anybody has seen the monkeys, we can let you know where they have been. I know this is Sports Open Line, but this story really interests me. How in the world does this happen?
Well, somebody's got a monkey they're not supposed to have, and they leave the door open, I guess.
Or 4 monkeys they're not supposed to have.
Which is true. It's illegal to have any kind of an exotic animal in the city of St. Louis. So that's how they know that this is something that should not have happened in the first place. Animal control in the city doesn't have the equipment to capture these primates, and so they're calling in additional agencies, potentially, some of the nonprofits that we've heard about that deal with primates to help them to track this down. Really reminds me of a funny story from several years ago. A former colleague here, Alex Stegman, was covering when some cows got loose also in North City. I believe they were headed to the slaughterhouse, actually, and they were prowling the streets and
it is
were eventually saved from the slaughterhouse, by the way.
It is much easier to catch a cow than it is to catch a monkey, though.
Is that a joke?
No, I mean, cows are not fast. If I run after a monkey and it runs away from me, I'm not catching it. If I run after a cow, I don't think it's going to start running away from me.
I don't think so, no.
Have you ever seen a cow run?
Trot, I guess.
So, I feel like the cow, you just have to get the right, materials in place to wrangle the cows. With the monkeys, you have to get the right materials in place, but you also have to be, nimble on your feet. Do they shoot them with a dart gun or something to get them to pass out? How do you catch a monkey?
Or try to get them, put some bananas into a crate with a door tied to a string?
I don't know. I've had people texting me from all over the country today, friends that I have who live all over the place, asking me about the monkey situation.
Really?
Yes. This is national news.
It is. Sean Malone got off the phone not long ago with CBS News in New York. And actually right here, cut number 263 on the CBS National News feed. Monkey business is afoot in St. Louis. KMOX Radio, Sean Malone has the story. So
there it is.
It literally is national news.
That,
we'll hear him in one of the CBS top of the hour newscasts, I'm sure.
I rarely get text messages from people in other cities about news going on in St. Louis, but the monkey story, for whatever reason, has resonated throughout the country.
Isn't that funny, too, how anytime anything happens in whatever city you're in, which is usually a big metro area, friends from across the country will text and say, were you at that big, whether it's a monkey on the loose or a protest or a tornado or what happened, whatever it happens to be, were you there? And it's no, that's, 35 minutes away from me.
Yeah, it's people just make assumptions that we're all at everything. But when these monkeys are caught, Michael, they should go to the St. Louis Zoo and they should be on they should make a special display for the monkeys of North County.
Yeah. Well, actually, they're building that safari attraction in North County. So give them a big pasture and some trees to just that'll be really cool. That's less of a zoo and more of like a Jurassic Park kind of attraction that they're building up there, where you'll get into a gas-powered Jeep and go through a field with gazelles and stuff. So.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And we're zoo members in the Pauley household, and my kids love going to the zoo and love seeing animals and everything. So we are looking forward to the addition of another zoo type. Because we do the zoo, we do Grant's Farm, we do all that stuff. So we are looking forward to, because they've already started putting animals out there. I know it's going to take a few years for them to, get it ready for people to actually come out. But I believe there are already a handful of animals that have been placed into that habitat.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons they're doing this is because the St. Louis Zoo, right up there with like the San Diego Zoo, is big in conservation and breeding. And so... being able to have just the room, being able to have more of a natural, environment for the animals is going to be a big help to that end. And it's a big thing for St. Louis, too, when you think about, how big of an attraction, whether it's, Six Flags Worlds of Adventure or the Sea Worlds and the Busch Gardens, all of these theme parks that have these kinds of attractions. That's what the zoo is building in North County. So
yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. All right, well, we are on Monkey Watch 2026. Michael, thanks for hanging out for a few minutes.
Thank you.
That's Michael Calhoun from our news department talking through the monkey situation here in St. Louis as monkeys are on the loose. I'm serious. If you've seen the monkeys, text in 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. Let us know where you saw them, how many monkeys you saw. From what I believe I've read and what we've reported, at one point, 2 monkeys were seen together, but it seems as if the monkeys have all gone on their own way. These monkeys, I believe they said today, are smart, but also unpredictable. So we have unpredictable monkeys running around North St. Louis here at the moment. We're going to take an early break because there's really no way to transition from monkey talk to baseball talk. So we'll take an early break right here, and then we'll take it all the way to the bottom of the hour, doing nothing but baseball, continuing to welcome in your thoughts, and I'll continue to go through some of what Rob Manfred had to say. That's all coming up in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You're locked to a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neovitin Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, or online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, made for men who keep moving forward.
Update your home for the new year with help from Menards. Organize your home with Closet Made. We carry everything you need to maximize your space in closets, pantries, laundry rooms, and more. Find the closet solution that's right for you and save big money. Check out all our Closet Made closet kits in store. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, this is former Cardinal Adam Wainwright. Congratulations to KMOX on 100 years as the voice of St. Louis.
We are back at it on KMOX. It's the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. In about 15 minutes or so, we are going to hear from Blues coach Jim Montgomery. He met with the media earlier today in Salt Lake City. Blues and the Mammoth tonight at 8 o'clock, and we'll get some of his pregame thoughts coming up at about 7:35 or so. Right now, we're continuing to talk Cardinals baseball. Opening up the phone lines to you as well. If you've got any thoughts on what's going on with the Cardinals and Major League Baseball, let's go to Jim, who's giving us a call. Hey, Jim, you're on Sports Open Line.
Hi, thanks for the call. Just thinking about Cardinal baseball this year. We are going to spring training in March to see a couple games, but I've always been a big fan of Arenado, and I'd like to see him stay with the Cardinals, but I don't know if that's in the works.
No, I don't think it is, Jim, and I appreciate the phone call. I think he and the organization have just made the decision that it makes more sense for him to be somewhere else at this point, that he's going to be given an opportunity, hopefully. Now, I don't think the Angels are that interested in him, but if he went to a team like the Angels, then it would go against what I'm about to say. But I think the feeling is he goes somewhere where there's more of a chance for him to win, and the Cardinals open up playing time for younger players. You know, last year was supposed to be a runway year. Last year was supposed to be a year where Nolan Gorman got the chance to be an everyday guy. That simply did not happen. Now, there were moments in the season where Gorman was playing every day with mixed success for sure. But this Arenado being on this team, as good as it can be in the clubhouse to have a guy like that, and let's also not lie about things. Arenado's production, he's still a high-end defensive player. He's no longer that every year Gold Glove winner, but he's one of the best defensive third basemen still in Major League Baseball, and he's headed to the Hall of Fame. He's been one of my favorite players to watch play in all of Major League Baseball, but he is a declining player. He had that 2022 season where he was a top 3 vote getter in the MVP, had an 891 OPS that year, and in the 3 years since, the OPS has gone 774, 719, and then last year it was at 666. In that time, the home runs have gone from 30 to 26, 16, and 12. The doubles have gone from 42 to 26, 23, and 18. The slugging percentage went from 533 in that in 2022 to 459, 394, and 377. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a late career renaissance left in him. I hope he does. I'm going to be rooting for that in a very, very big way. But the 3-year trend on Arenado is that he is not an impactful offensive player anymore. And then you throw in the fact that last year he was banged up. He does tend to have back issues, only played in 107 games last year. And why listen to me? Let's listen into Chaim Bloom. This is what he said when asked about Nolan Arenado on Sports on a Sunday morning.
I believe that Nolan's going to the Hall of Fame. There are not that many people you really single-digit number of third basemen who have accomplished what he has on both sides of the ball. I think his resume speaks for itself, and he will deserve that honor whenever it comes to him, as I believe it will. We all agree we're at a point both where we are and where he is, where it just makes sense to find a different fit. And so we've been working on that. Obviously, he's still with us, so that hasn't happened yet. But, I've been asked about this a couple times this offseason, actually, including by Greg when I was on MLB Network at the winter meetings. And I don't feel any differently than I did at the beginning, that we do think it would be ideal for everybody to find that different fit, but it obviously has to be something that makes sense for everybody. And we have not found that yet, but I don't feel any differently than I did early in the off season on, both that it makes sense and also that we will find it at some point.
So that's Chaim Bloom. I can answer the question until I'm red in the face on why it may not be the best scenario to have Arenado back with the Cardinals, but there's Bloom talking very openly about it. Now, a deal's not done. Nothing seems imminent. The national reporting out there says that the market is very slow. This time last year, we were saying the exact same thing, that we were 99% sure that he was going to get moved, and then the 1% happened. Is there a possibility that the 1% happens again this year? Sure. I'm not closing that door, but I was wrong last year. I can be wrong again this year. I don't run away from the times that I'm wrong. But I just don't see the scenario playing out where Arenado is with the Cardinals again this upcoming year. Let's grab another phone call. Curtis has given us a call. Hey, Curtis, you're on Sports Open Line.
Hey, Matt. I got a couple of things on my mind about the Cardinals. And one of them is the way people react to how Ollie Marmol managed last year, and their frustration with him. They ought to realize whenever Tony La Russa came to the Cardinals, they had the same issue with Tony La Russa. They weren't too happy with how he managed, but the team did okay. The team's going to do fine with Ollie Marmol. I look at it this way. If people don't like how Ollie Marmol managed, they ought to put their money where their mouth is and try to manage themselves.
All right, Curtis.
That's the way I look at it.
All right, appreciate the phone call. So I'm an Ollie Marmol guy. I like Ollie. I think he's a really good manager. I don't agree with everything he does, but I understand that there is a reason for everything he does. I think he takes more criticism than he deserves. I don't always understand why people are as anti-Ollie as they are. The team hasn't been winning because of the roster. The team hasn't not been winning because of Ollie. Have there been times where he's made mistakes and decisions that he's made? Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? A lot of times when he is asked about that the next day, he'll have a good reason for making the move, but then he's openly said, you know what, if I do that again, I may have done it a little bit differently. I think he's a perfectly fine game manager. The players like playing for him. He commands respect from the players. My worry about him, because I'm a fan of his and I want him to continue to be the manager of the Cardinals, my worry is like you can only not win in St. Louis for so long before a change is going to be made. And he's going into another year where it would appear that the Cardinals are not likely to win a lot of games. And fair or unfair, at some point that falls at his feet. And I am hopeful that he once again can be given a team that can go win some games. Now, 2022, he had a team that could win some games, and he got into the playoffs, but they didn't win in the playoffs. And I think that's the first thing that is pointed out. That first game of that Phillies series was incredibly, incredibly fluky. Like he's criticized for that game for not getting a pitcher up when Helsley was struggling. But I've done this a million times where you go batter by batter and you try to figure out. I think at worst, Ollie was one batter too late getting somebody up in the bullpen that game, and one batter too late wouldn't have changed things. Like you probably wouldn't have made the pitching change again. I'm not trying to relitigate something from 3-4 years ago. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But no, I like Ollie, and one thing is true. One thing is very true about baseball fans. no matter what city you're in, no matter what market you're in, no matter what team that you are supporting, there are going to be either a majority of people or a vocal minority that do not like the team manager. Just don't. You probably know where I'm going here if you listen to me a lot. I spent a good number of years hosting post-game shows in Milwaukee. And the Brewers, when I was there, were on a great run. It was right at the beginning of this run that arguably they're still on right now. I can't tell you how many phone calls I took from people wanting the Brewers to fire Craig Counsell. Hated him. Hated Craig Counsell. And that's a guy who was winning at a very high level and was from the city. He was Milwaukee's own. And it's a little bit different now to look at that because he has since gone on to become the manager of the Cubs, and that did not sit well with the Milwaukee community. But if you go back in time, before there was ever talk about him going to the Cubs, Milwaukee's own, managing a team and winning at the highest level, and I got as much interaction from Brewers fans being critical of Craig Counsell as I get from Cardinals fans being critical of Oliver Marmol. So I've worked in 2 major league markets. I've worked here. This is where I grew up. I understand this city. I've worked in Milwaukee. I learned to understand that city while I was there. Those are the only 2 major league teams that I have covered and have been intimately connected with. But the fact that the experience was exactly the same with the managers from a fan standpoint, that tells me that it's that way just about everywhere. And Kevin Wheeler talks about this all the time too, because Kevin used to do national radio, and he would be on in the evenings on radio stations across the country. And when people call into radio shows, whether they're a local show or a national show, they don't really know that they just hear somebody on their local radio station. They don't know that it's a national show. They just want to talk about their teams. And Kevin's got the same experience, that he would talk with fans throughout the whole country during his time doing national hosting, where they wanted their guy out. So that's just kind of part of what we deal with and the way fans are with managers. A lot of fans do not like their managers, no matter how successful or unsuccessful they may happen to be. We are continuing to talk through some of the Rob Manfred stuff. Again, he was on WFAN in New York, and he floated out a bunch of different things. He said that his vision, and this surprised me. This caught me off guard, to be blunt with you. He said his vision for divisional realignment would not put teams that share a market in the same division. So the Mets and Yankees would not be in the same division. The Cubs and White Sox would not be in the same division. And the Dodgers and Angels would not be in the same division. I don't know if they would include the Padres in that as well, being that that's all Southern California, or if you almost can't. Like, you'd have to put the Padres in with either the Dodgers or the Angels at that point. Everything that I had seen, because at some point Major League Baseball is going to add 2 more teams. It's going to happen. It's going to happen relatively soon. They got to get the 2 markets that are still up in the air figured out. You got to get the A's moved to Vegas. You got to get the stadium situation in Tampa figured out. You know, they've broken ground in Vegas, but they've also said they're spending the next 3 years in Sacramento. It feels like that Vegas thing is a done deal, but you know about counting chickens, right? But it seems like that one's a done deal. The Tampa thing is still a little further back. The Rays have new owners. It feels like these new owners with the Rays are going to be a little more friendly to work with local city government, because they had a stadium deal done in Tampa, and then it didn't get done, and a bunch of new council members got elected, and they were replacing council members in Tampa that had approved the stadium deal, and then these new council members walked in and basically undid everything that had been done before. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're living in a period right now where we've had some pretty high inflation, so construction cost and all that has continued to move very much in an upward direction, so it became more expensive. So I think they're going to get the stadium deal done in Tampa at some point in time. And then after that, they figure out the expansion markets. And there's going to be a ton of markets. There's going to be a ton of markets that are going to be in for an expansion. If you listen to the Countdown to Opening Day show on Thursday nights, I had interviewed Barry Larkin when I was at the winter meetings because he is an Orlando resident. And the folks in Orlando really want Major League Baseball. They already have a site. They have funding for a stadium. They've got all these things in place. And they feel like the ding on them is there is this perception that they are too close to other major league markets. And one of their big talking points is their distance to Tampa, which is the closest team, that there are many instances across Major League Baseball where teams are closer geographically to each other than what Orlando is to Tampa. So Orlando wants it, Portland wants it, Nashville wants it, Austin wants it, Montreal wants it. Who am I missing? I mean, there's a bunch of markets who want Major League Baseball. And I think there's a bunch of markets where Major League Baseball would be successful. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Montreal. I was told by somebody very much in the know who would be in on this, said Montreal's just not going to work because when you look at the value of the Canadian dollar versus the value of the U.S. dollar, it dings market size. So when you're Toronto, you're this huge market. So even if you've got the value of the dollar thing that knocks Toronto down a few rungs, well, they're still a huge market, so it works. Whereas Montreal is not a huge market, and then you put it in the financial side, and it isn't going to happen. So anyways, I say all that to say this. They're going to have to realign. My thought was always that they would put these teams that were in the same city together from a rivalry also from like a money saving standpoint. If you're the Cubs and you play a bunch of games against the White Sox, guess what? You're not paying for a plane. If you're the Cubs and you are in a division with the White Sox, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, well, then there's only one plane trip in there, and it is a short plane trip. It's to St. Louis because you bust to Milwaukee and you're in the same city as you are in with the other Chicago team. But Manfred says that's not what they're going to try to do, that they are going to try to create new divisions, but the divisions will not have teams from the same city. So and then that creates the question of, what does that look like for the Cardinals? Because by the way, we're getting some breaking news right now. We'll try to, Ryan Stanek evidently is John Heyman. Sorry, I stopped mid statement here because John Heyman is reporting. Let me make sure I get this. That Ryan Stanek is going to sign with the Cardinals. So there you go. So you wanted a move, you get a move. Ryan Stanek is going to join the Cardinals. Last year, 4-6, 5.30 ERA, appearing in 6 games. There is your veteran. He pitched between the Mets and Seattle last year. No, last year he pitched just with the Mets, 4-6, 5.30 ERA. He's had some pretty good years in his career, but it appears that the Cardinals have a right-handed reliever coming in Ryan Stanek. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Blues coach Jim Montgomery. That's next. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life. Not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
When life happens and you need to sell your St. Louis area home, call trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria is St. Louis's real estate expert with more than 22 years of experience and expertise, helping you sell quickly and for the most money.
Selling your home can be so stressful, especially when life happens, like a sudden job change, a passing of a loved one, or a growing family. Knowing exactly how much your home will sell in today's market is the first step. Then I back it up with an upfront written guarantee. My guarantee is simple and easy to understand. If I can't sell your home at our agreed upon price and time frame, I'll buy it myself.
When life happens, the name to remember is Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. I strongly suggest you call her right now at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
On at KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. We are taking you until 8 o'clock this evening. Also tonight at 8 o'clock, the St. Louis Blues, they are in action as they are in Salt Lake City. Tonight they are going to match up against the Utah Mammoth. Blues coach Jim Montgomery spoke with the media earlier today after the Blues went through a morning skate. Let's listen into some of what he had to say. Blues are coming off a bad loss. Their last time out, that was that 7-3 loss against the Blackhawks. Now, unfortunately, they've had a lot of those kind of losses this year, just not even that long ago. They had that 6-1 loss against the Colorado Avalanche. They tend to win their next games after really lopsided losses, and Montgomery explains why his team does that.
Well, I think as athletes and as a team, when you're humbled, like in those situations, you come back with a more concentrated effort on your habits and details. The thing that we want to grow in our team is having those concentrated habits when times are going well, like a 2-game winning streak, because that's the consistency you need to win for 60 minutes in this league.
There are a lot of things about this team that are flawed. We are still waiting for them to get going. We'll see if they can get going. It wasn't that long ago that they were within 1 point of a playoff spot. So we've said it a million times. We'll continue to say it. If they ever really do find themselves, they've got every opportunity in front of them. For them to find themselves, they probably need to have more success on the power play. That was a big part of what went down in that Blackhawks game, not being able to be as effective in that area. And Montgomery said that he has seen flashes from the power play, but not consistency.
I like the attack mindset on the first 2 power plays. I thought we were attacking the net from the goal line. The problem was the weak side and middle convergence on it. We weren't getting the numbers that we should get to be able to get second chance opportunities. And then after that, we didn't have an attack mindset, and we just stayed very perimeter. So like the one thing we want to see is more numbers at the net. When the puck's going to the net, we believe that it should be understood it's going to the net so that we can outnumber like the defenseman 3-on-2 at the net when we're trying to attack those areas. Our low play hasn't been aggressive enough.
He talks about aggressiveness right there, specific to the power play, but what about specific to individuals? Because it does seem like, and he's even mentioned this, it does seem like there's a lot of players on this team that have a pass-first mentality. And that's all fine and good, but you would like to have some guys who are maybe a little bit more aggressive to the the net. And he was asked how he can help players get more of that kind of mindset.
A lot of times it's who they are. And like you've seen it a lot, like Adam Oates. What a great passer. He was a pass-first guy. He absolutely waited till the last minute to shoot. But if you're attacking with a pass-first attitude inside the dots, teams will get out of position because you're a threat. And if you just try to pass the puck from outside the dots without taking a step towards the net, you're easy to defend. There's no reason for people to leave their man. There's no reason for people to overextend. So those pass-first guys, we want them more of an attack-first mindset at the net, and then make your reads.
We have seen Jim Montgomery switch up the lines a lot this year. It has been a very common thing. If he goes with what was on the ice during morning skate this morning, which is generally the way it goes, basically the lines and the defensive pairings are staying the same from the Blackhawks game to tonight's game. So that presents the question, after such a lopsided loss, why would you keep the lines intact?
When I look at the whole season in general, I've mixed lines up quite often. I don't know if I've given them the opportunity more than once to get back at it after a lopsided loss. So that's the thinking behind it, is like, put the onus on, let's get this thing rolling together here by who you're used to playing with. And I think the Shen line has been very effective. And our third and fourth line has been very effective. Like, they both had goals last game.
There's probably not anybody more disappointing this year than Jordan Kyrou. The numbers just are not there. The guy who is the most talented goal scorer on the team has scored 8 goals this season, right now on pace to not even be a 20-goal guy. And he's got the ability to be a 40-goal guy. So it's just not happening for him this year. The question is why.
Last game, he got the looks that you want to get. He had a breakaway. It's just one of those things where one goes in, and then all of a sudden he's going to have 10 goals in his next 7 games.
As mentioned, the Blues play the Utah Mammoth tonight. This is the third meeting. They'll have one more meeting after this evening. Their first game was back on October 23rd in St. Louis. Utah won that game 7-4. Then the Blues had another home game against them on November 29th. In that game, the Blues won 1-0. They'll play tonight, and then they are going to play very late in the season as well, once the calendar does turn to April. Montgomery talked a little bit about what he and what the team has learned about Utah in their first 2 meetings.
Just how dangerous this team is in their neutral zone counters and their entries. They're a real good rush team, and they're also a really good O-zone team. Like, defensively, we need to be on top of our game like we were the last game we played them, because in the first game we weren't, and we gave up, I think, 3 rush goals and then 3 offensive zone goals.
That's Blues coach Jim Montgomery. Again, the Blues and the Mammoth tonight. That game is going to get started a little bit after 8 o'clock, and we'll see if the Blues can once again respond. Such a terrible performance against the Blackhawks just a few days ago, and we continue to say it. So the Blues right now have 42 points. The LA Kings are the final playoff team right now. They have 46 points, so just 4 points separating the Blues from a playoff spot, but they haven't really done much of anything to make you feel like that they're going to go on a run, but it'd be good if they could at least bounce back and get a win tonight. We are going to take one more break. We'll come back and we'll wrap up this edition of the program. You are locked to a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt.
I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them.
What?
Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean?
I guess.
Their gloves come off when they fight for you.
Okay.
I'm talking a settlement slapshot.
Shouldn't we be talking about the game?
Yeah, Dan, Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If I could be you.
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We're back at it on the Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. I'm taking you till 8 o'clock this evening. Wanted to touch on something real quick here, and I don't know if you're going to have any interest in it or not. I saw somebody basically say a shortened version of what I'm about to say on social media, and it's sports adjacent, so we're going to go with it today here in the final segment of the week. Obviously, over the last 48 hours, there has been no bigger sports story in St. Louis than that of the Cardinals canceling their contract with FanDuel Sports Network Midwest and how games are going to air moving forward. And when I say how, I mean what is it going to look like, where is it going to be, but not the. I keep saying this. I read the. I went on STL Today yesterday and read. I think Derek Gould wrote it along with Dan Caesar, if I remember correctly. They had written a story about it, and I went to the comments. You should never go to the comments. That's what they say. So I go to the comments, and I don't totally blame people, but there was so many things that were said in the comments that were just blatantly false. Like somebody said, well, you see ads for the FanDuel sports book everywhere. Why do they not have money to do this? Well, because the FanDuel Sportsbook doesn't own the TV network. It is just simply a naming rights deal where the sportsbook people pay the TV network to put their name on it. So, I saw something like that. People continue to be and look, maybe it's up to people like me. I'm not trying to be arrogant about this, and maybe the way I did that voice right there was not the best thing, because from a surface level standpoint, I get where the confusion might come from, but it just feels like, reading the comments on a story where a lot of stuff was laid out pretty logically, and there were a lot of comments based in misinformation. the bottom line for you, the fan, and this isn't what I was going to talk about here, but since we brought up the TV, I think it's worth repeating over and over and over again. The bottom line for you when it comes to the TV situation, and of course you'll be able to hear all the games right here on KMOX, but from a TV situation, if you have previously watched the games via cable or satellite, you're still going to be able to do that. If you previously watched the games by buying a direct-to-consumer streaming service, well, you're still going to be able to do that. Is there a chance that the cable number, the channel of the cable number, is going to change on your system? Yeah, there's a possibility. Is it going to look a little bit different, like graphics? Yeah, that. But no matter if you saw Cardinals games last season, you will be able to see them. If you bought the the FanDuel Sports app streaming service, you might have to buy a different streaming service, but I would assume price-wise it's all going to be the same. So the route in which you get the games are basically going to be the same. They're just going to look a little bit different, and that's why we said over and over the real impact of that news yesterday was about the revenue that the Cardinals are going to receive, not so much about how the fans are going to take in games. Okay, all that being said, this is where I wanted to go, and I saw somebody mentioned this on social media, and I thought it was an interesting point. And generally, I don't like to talk about things where I'm kind of talking out of my backside. I try to be somewhat educated on, despite what you might think, I try to be somewhat educated about what I talk about on any given day. But I was thinking about this because, I don't have an agenda in what I'm about to say. My only agenda is I want people to have jobs. I want companies to thrive. I want good things to happen, especially when it is connected to sports and connected to our local teams and everything. I'm sorry that the Blues wake up every morning not knowing if their network is going to exist that night. And that's kind of where we're at right now with FanDuel. And I'm sure they have a plan in place, I'm sure. If FanDuel goes belly up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that could happen, and the Blues play a game that night, that game is going to be on TV that night. They've got a plan ready to go. We saw that happen in baseball a couple years ago when, I guess it was Bally at the time, they canceled contracts of, was it the Padres and the Diamondbacks right in the middle of the season? And the team was ready to go with a package the next day. So the games are going to be on TV. That's not a problem. Let's rewind a little bit. This all started when the Fox folks started selling off a lot of their assets. So you had all the Fox regional sports networks, Fox Sports Midwest, right? So this all started happening when Fox sold off a lot of their stuff. ABC Disney bought a lot of the Fox assets. Well, ESPN wanted to buy the regional sports networks. And if I remember correctly, the government basically stepped in and said, no, there would be a monopoly. I understand why governments step in and try to prevent monopolies. It makes all the sense of the world. From a consumer standpoint, there's protection, try to keep prices down, yada, yada, yada. Avoiding monopolies is a good idea. But there were ramifications to this when the dominoes were pushed down. Because maybe I'm naive, I probably am, about a lot of stuff. Maybe I'm naive, but if ESPN would have taken ownership of all these regional sports networks all those years ago before they ended up getting sold off, and that's when they became Bally, if ESPN would have gotten those, like, they know what they're doing, first off. ESPN knows what they're doing. They're in the business of sports. They're in the business of broadcasting sports. They're in the business of selling broadcasts of sports. That is their business. They know what they're doing. No disrespect meant to the good people over at Sinclair, but they didn't know what they were doing. And they put themselves out there too much, and it was a bad financial situation from Jump Street on that one, and they never had a chance, and then they went through their bankruptcy, and Diamond Sports became Main Street. So, like, it's just been a disaster. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to completely say that you need to ignore the idea of monopolies, but even if it was monopolistic, wouldn't we all rather, like, wouldn't it be a better situation right now if ESPN would have just had these regional sports networks from the beginning, if they would have operated them in the way that they operate their business, if they would have gone and made money, who knows? Because these networks are so connected to baseball. And I know ESPN is still very much involved. And in fact, the streaming package, what was MLB TV and will continue to be MLB TV, I guess, for another year, that's going to be controlled by ESPN moving forward. But we're not going to have Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN anymore. Baseball has been very much knocked down a peg or two behind football and basketball on ESPN. If they would have had all these regional sports networks and all these baseball games and all that programming, would things look a little bit different? Because the network promotes the stuff that they've got the biggest interest in. And I don't know, maybe I'm taking a step too far, but I would, if I could go back in the DeLorean, I don't think we would be sitting in this situation right now had the government not stepped in and basically said that ESPN could not go buy all the regional sports networks because it would be a monopoly. I don't know. Like people are losing their jobs. People have lost their jobs over this. And there's no way to tell the future. Maybe the better piece of advice that I could give to the good folks in the government, because I'm sure they're listening right now, is if you are going to block one operator and open up the door to another operator, make sure that other operator actually knows what they're doing. Because it has been years and years and years. And I'm sure, from like a Cardinal standpoint, where they took the haircut last year, took the big decrease in rights fees, and now basically don't have rights fees moving forward. I bet the folks at the Cardinals, if they could go back in time, they would also much rather would have had ESPN take over the regional sports networks and been dealing with them. I think we can all agree it probably would have been a better situation just in terms of competent people doing things that they're competent at, if that makes sense. All right. That is it for the program today. Thanks so much for being tuned in. Appreciate all my guests coming on. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the football. College football playoff semifinal going on right now. NFL football all weekend long. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Such a great football weekend coming up. And we'll talk to you again on Monday for another Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX.
Saturday afternoon, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they face LaSalle. Pre-game 2:45, tip at 3 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cashback app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite